rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fam's on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, for more in-depth Knicks conversations and more Uncle Freezy one-on-one time, consider being a Patreon. The link to our Blorange Tears Patreon page is in the description box below. It's more individual conversations, more in-depth breakdowns. For more of that stuff, consider $2 a month or something cheap like that for more in-depth Knicks conversations. I'll see y'all over there. I'm Uncle Freezy, and you know who I am, Uncle Freezy, the #1 chief rocker in Knicks universe, giving you everything that you want. I will holler at y'all later. Peace, y'all. Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the #1 chief rocker in Knicks universe, man, Uncle Freezy. What's good? Welcome to this thing that we call the Knicks at Night podcast. It's good to see y'all, man. Good to be with y'all, man. Y'all want this party started right. Y'all want this party started quickly, right? What's good, party people? It's good to see y'all, man. Let's get this thing started off on the right track. I've been in this line of thinking all day long. Salute, Jerry Fitz. King Ribby was good. Nick G in the building. Lamar Jackson was good. Man, it's been a busy day around here. Busy day around here. I'm still busy, man. Still busy. You know what I mean? Still busy, man. Still busy. But listen, Uncle Fulio was in the building. What's good, Uncle Fulio? How you doing? Uncle Fulio is in the building. What's good? Sarge is in the building. Hey, Sarge, what's good? Hey, and Sarge says, hey, I disagree with your take on the Queen's Court the other day, but what else is new? I feel you. I understand where you're coming from, bro. I understand what it's like to see somebody experienced and smart make a smart take and then can't handle it and just want to be in that realm of, I want to be like Uncle Freezy. John, hey, Uncle Fulio, you could be like me. All you have to do is ask, bro. I'm kidding with Uncle Fulio. That's my guy. Hey, Uncle Fulio, I love you, bro. You know I'm always joking with you, bro. I'm always joking with you. I think part of that has to do with you being Navy. It has something to do with you being Navy, bro. It has something to do with you being Navy. You know what I'm saying? You know I'm messing around. But here's the thing I want to get to real quick, man. I want to ask y'all, listen, are the Knicks on a wave? Are the Knicks on the wave? Let me, as a matter of fact, because what I was gonna do, I have this feeling that I was gonna speak for like an hour straight, and I don't want to do that. What I want to do is get y'all. I want y'all to come up here and join me, man, and help me break this thing down. Because I don't want you to. I don't want to sway you one way or the other. I just want your honest feedback. Are the Knicks on a wave? Are the Knicks on a wave? Right? And people are saying, like, what do you mean on a wave? What kind of momentum do they have going? Really? What do you mean? What kind of momentum do the Knicks have going in one direction or another? What do you mean? What do you mean? Do the Knicks finally have a momentum building in one direction or another? What do you mean? What do you mean one direction or another? What do you mean? Uncle Freezy, what do you mean by saying the Knicks may be on a wave? Because when you say stuff like wave, that creates expectations one way or another. And Knicks fans, hey, Coach Color Blocks is in the building. What's up, Coach? So I know I'm going to get the question. What do you mean that the Knicks are on a wave, Uncle Freezy? Why would you suggest such a thing? Let me point out a few things to you that it may not mean the Knicks are on a wave, which, you know, further pushes the question more out front, more so than the subject out in front. Because in this case, the question is, are the Knicks on a wave? The subject of that question is Knicks and wave. And they do those two correlate. Right? Are the Knicks on a wave? I just got a thing just now where some random, yeah, don't you hate that, man? Just people just randomly spam your stuff on YouTube. Come on, YouTube, man. Come on, YouTube. Come on, YouTube. Hey, for sure. Set It Off was that jam back in the day. It's still that jam. Yeah, sometimes we go to the old school parties, and I could hear, you know how you be like in the foyer area somewhere, and you could just hear the song come on, and you hear the dude just say, "Y'all want this party started right? Y'all want this party started quickly, right?" And it's just that you already know the song is gonna be about 9 minutes long, so you're like, yo, why every time you start getting in your groove, you got to bite your lip? One of these days, listen, I want to stand up and dance, but I'm kind of tall, right? I want to stand up and dance for y'all, but I'm kind of tall. And so I have to stay seated here so that I could squeeze within this frame. Have to squeeze. Yo, it's weird, man. It's weird. It's weird, man. It's weird how I want to stand up and dance in here, but then I have to back up all the way to the aquarium, which is weird. I ain't doing all that. On the left, started. On the right, started. On the left, I suggest while you left, started. Right? But listen, Are the Knicks on a wave? This is a very important question for Knicks fans to ask each other, because for months now, for weeks, for days, for hours, for minutes, we've been asking one question. When is the Donovan Mitchell trade going to go through? For months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, almost seconds, the one question is, when is the Donovan Mitchell trade going through? But there are other questions for us to ask each other. You can have a conversation that's not limited to one subject. Payback Carter's in the building. Knicks for Life is in the building. JJ, what's good? Knicks fans can have a conversation about more than one topic. And I know the topic du jour has been, is he and when is he coming to New York? Right? The one topic that gets shoved down the Knicks fan base's throat is, or it's two of them. Is he and when is he coming? Right? And here's the thing to that. Whether he shows up or not, the Knicks will play basketball. Whether Donovan Mitchell shows up or not, the Knicks will play basketball. Right? So if that's the case, why not ask other questions? Why not ask other questions? Right? Like, are we on a wave? And I know a lot of you guys are saying, what do you mean on a wave? You mean the momentum is building towards something greater than it has been? Yes. That's the question I'm asking you. And I want your response, because this is the Knicks at Night podcast. It's not the Uncle Freezy show. Our whole movement here, the Blorange Tears movement, is not about one person. And you see us, we come and go, like we rock for a little while and then maybe move on to something else. You see new faces all the time and all of that stuff. But man, listen, this whole thing is not about what Uncle Freezy thinks. It's not. It's about what we all think. And I know people in corporate settings, they say, beware of groupthink. And listen, I understand where they're coming from, right? They're coming from years and years of frustration and blah, 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 blah. But listen, a lot of y'all are smart, right? And so I want to hear what it is that y'all have to say, right? And listen, and some of y'all are so smart that you probably intimidate yourselves and are concerned what other people think about what you say. I'm not. Say what's on your mind. We got a platform to do it. It's a lot of y'all in this chat right now and that'll watch this video that are really smart, but are intimidated not by others, but by yourself, because you think outside of the box. And then thinking out so far outside of the box causes you to think like, hey man, am I out here in left field by myself? Yes. You know why? Because good defenses only put one person out in left field, because that one person can handle left field by themselves. And that's why they have a center fielder and a right fielder. So if you think outside the box, if you think way out in left field by yourself, guess what? You're doing the right thing. You've never seen a good defense have two left fielders play side by side. Think outside the box. Ride with me on this. I want to get these people. I want to get the people that have thoughts to put their opinions in the chat about if we are riding a wave. Here's the start. Here's the start of this wave. Here's the start of this wave, right? The New York Knicks draft with the number or whatever pick, and the whatever draft, the 2018 draft, they draft Kevin Knox. At the time, we don't know what to think. We're hoping he's a star, but we don't know for sure, right? With their second round pick, they're considering a shooting guard out of Arizona named Alonzo Trier, right? But a center that they had their eyes on that they thought would go to the Lakers isn't drafted by the Lakers. All of a sudden, he's sliding down the board. And he's available when we pick in the second round. Now, do you take a gamble on him? Or do you go for the sure thing in Alonzo Trier? Alonzo Trier is a bucket. Now, the personal stuff that goes along with Alonzo Trier kind of makes you wonder, why he's sliding down the board. The personal stuff. The person stuff. So the Knicks are saying, do we go with a big with high upside, or do we go with a 6'5" shooting guard that can score? In hindsight, we know they went with the big. But in that time, they're thinking, which is more rare? A 7-foot freak athlete or a 6'5" shooting guard that can score? I agree with the decision that they made. I think it's harder to find a 7-foot athletic freak that can dominate the game in certain areas, offensive rebounding, shot blocking. It's rarer to find that guy than it is to find a 6'5" guard that can score. Right? And you may not agree with me about my take on it, but the Knicks basically made a decision. They chose Mitchell Robinson, a 7-foot athletic freak with the upside to dominate the game in an area or two, offensive rebounding and shot blocking. Now, defense is not just blocking shots. Defense is a lot of other stuff. So could Mitchell Robinson get better as a defender? Definitely. I'm talking about back then. I'm not talking about now. Sure, he can be better as a defender now, right? But then is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in that moment. At that moment. As soon as they made that choice, a raindrop hits the ocean, causes a ripple. Y'all see where I'm going? As soon as they say as soon as they submit the card with the Mitchell Robinson's name on it, a raindrop hits the ocean and causes a ripple. Right? The next year, they draft R.J. Barrett. And now the ripple from Mitchell Robinson, the ripple on the water, gets the momentum from another raindrop. And now it's a bigger ripple. Right? Now it's a bigger ripple. Right? And the next year, because we're not going to talk about Iggy Brasdakis and cats that don't matter, cats that ain't here, right? We'll talk about the next season, the Knicks draft Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley. And all of a sudden, that ripple becomes a wave. So now that ripple that was created with Mitchell Robinson is all of a sudden something. You don't know what. You just knew that it was something greater than what we had prior. Because you drafted Kevin Knox, or we drafted Kevin Knox, and we're like, I don't know what this is. Prior to that, we drafted Frank Ntilikina and Damian Dotson. We're like, brought in Luke Cornett, Isaiah Hicks. Y'all remember that young core. We don't want to go through all of that. We're starting at a certain time on the Knicks timeline. The line of demarcation, the spot on this timeline started when the Knicks chose Mitchell Robinson over Alonzo Trier and wound up getting both. They wound up getting both. Because the thing with Alonzo Trier and his personal life and the guy, it's something to that. It's something real to that. So now you have a wave, and then all of a sudden, you bring in Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, and Jericho Sims. Right? So you have a Mitch, an RJ, an Obi, a Quickley, a Grimes, a McBride, a Sims, and all of a sudden you find a guy that just wants to be here in Farron Hunt. So now you have 9 guys that are a wave. And Emmanuel Quickley. Right? So let's say it, let's go through it all again. So Mitch, RJ, we're gonna put them two together. They were drafted back to back, second round of 1 year, first round of the next year. Then you have Obi and Quickley, that's 4. Then you have Grimes, that's 5. McBride, that's 6. Jericho Sims, that's 7. Right? Farron Hunt, that's 8. And all of a sudden, instead of you having a terrible core of young players, now you have 8 guys that you're looking to make room for. And oh yeah, you got rid of a guy to bring in another guy. You traded a guy for a new guy. You got rid of a guy for a guy. So you got rid of Kevin Knox and you brought in Cam Reddish. Now you're talking about 9 guys. Now you're talking about 9 youngsters. 9 youngsters. And if y'all want to count Rokas Jokubaitis, you can. I don't know if he'll ever come over and play for the Knicks, but we do have the rights to him. Right? Now you have all these young guys on your roster. And now I'm asking you, y'all remember when we had Frank? Was that a wave or a hive? Y'all remember when we had Kevin Knox? Was that a wave or a hive? Hey, there he is. Hey, Sarge.
What's up, General?
Hey, General. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm just hearing your analogy there, and you're the king of analogies. However, yeah,
Do we have a wave? Are we riding a wave?
for the first time ever, I'm gonna be closer to saying, for I'm Uncle Fulio right now to you right now because I disagree with you, and I never agree with Uncle Fulio. I want him to get on here one day. I want to smack him around. We got to meet him in the alley one day.
Yeah, but he's a Navy guy, so he can't help himself.
I know he's gonna talk trash that the Marine Corps is a department of the Navy. That's what Navy guys always say. The Marine Corps is a department of the Navy.
Right.
My response to that is, yes, we are. We're the men's department. So, so I can't wait for him to get on here.
Right. Right.
No, I think we were in the Sahara Desert. Then slowly became a small puddle, and became a little creek. We probably at a nice stream right now. We're not flowing into that river that gets to the ocean and becomes a wave yet. That's my opinion. We're still 2 huge hurricanes away from getting us into that kind of water level that becomes something that can be called a wave. Unfortunately. Right. Again, because I was never a big RJ fan. I really wish we had traded that third pick and gotten some more assets for that. And although I love our young guys, I mean, I'm called Deuce, CP3 2.0. I've gone crazy with, Sims saying, "Oh, baby, a large one." I've done crazy stuff like that, but in reality.
What? Okay, yeah, let's
back to reality check. Yeah, they're not. This squad is not there yet, so that's why I'm not seeing the wave, man. I'm seeing. I mean, it's not the Pacific. It's a nice, smooth, I don't want to say the Dead Sea, but maybe in Lake Michigan where you can see there's water out there. But you can see land on the other side. It's just not big enough to cause any huge disturbance. So that's where I'm at now with the squad. Love them, but not quite.
I didn't call them a tsunami.
No.
I didn't call them that. I didn't call them a tide.
Mm-hmm.
I asked where I asked. Well, I'm trying to remember how I asked the question. Are we experiencing a wave?
I wouldn't get my surfboard out, I wouldn't get the surfboard out yet.
Yeah, I think it's a wave, but not a tidal wave. Right. So I'm not going to say get your surfboard out, but what I am saying is this: I do think the Knicks front office is building momentum with these young guys. Right, because for the first time in a long time, when I say a player's name, you don't want to vomit, right?
True,
right? Because I can say Josh Harrelson, I can say Andy Routens, you know what I mean? And so there are some names out there that I can mention that can turn our stomachs, but now when I say Obi Toppin, you don't feel that way. You know what I mean?
True.
When I say Quentin Grimes, you don't feel that way. When I say Miles McBride, Andy Routens, and Landry Fields were all drafted in the second round, right? Clee Anthony early, Josh Harrelson, right? But when I say Josh Harrelson, Andy Routens, Landry Fields, Knicks fans are like, oh my God. Clee Anthony early, oh my God. But when I say Miles McBride, they're like, nah, he's a player. Right?
Right. Yep.
Right. So what I'm getting at is I feel like we may be on a wave, but to what extent, I don't know for sure. And that is the reason why I asked the chat. Chat, what do y'all think? Y'all think we on a wave?
Mm. Mm-mm. But I was just talking to my boy from the Denver Nuggets fan who also works for CAA. So he was, and he was watching the show with me outside because he was walking his dogs, and I was driving up, and he goes, man, we're not happy in Denver because we only have one real player, and I'm like, wow. He goes, we're not happy because we're not gonna get the championship. Well, he's not anyway. His said it is championship or bust. He goes, might as well be last. And I'm like, wow, that's an interesting perspective where we're big bargain with one win in the playoffs, and he's like, man, all we got is one real player. I don't think the other guys around him can help him there.
Right.
So he said, you guys are far away from any kind of movement right now. I'm like, man, don't be rain on my parade, you know.
Right. And we got to get him on the show one day, bro.
Yeah, he was about. I told him he's gonna jump on. He said he's gotta jump on, man. He says he can't wait. I said, you know, come hard. He goes, I'm from Mile High City, man. We go hard over there. I'm like, I mean, jokingly, cause they're a little soft.
Yeah. They smoke hard over there. That's Colorado, right?
Exactly.
They smoke hard over there, right? That's no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking with your guy. I'm sure he's probably watching right now.
He's gonna jump on one night and chat it
up and hang out with us. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
But he's mostly, he throw his Broncos stuff out there first because they have and then he's gonna come back to the basketball.
Well, we got we have the Football Channel Legends, so we have that going on too. So
exactly.
At some point, man, if you want to do whichever, we're kind of flexible here now. So that's one of the positive things. That's one of the positive things that we have going on. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for the channel link now so that we can throw that in the chat.
Definitely.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw the Legends link in the chat. Faultless Phil is in the building. What's good?
Because I've been for the past year, Uncle Fulio been like trying to put a damper on what we got on these players, and also saying things about of course that Tibbs is developing the players, and he goes and he plays young guys, but the debate for me and him was always he plays experienced guys, not necessarily we should take away the word young because he's saying, Obi is 24, I'm like, and RG is 21, I'm like, okay, RG's a third-year player. RG's almost a vet, like you've been saying. RG's
right
on the path to being a vet, so
right.
I'm not, so it's interesting to go, are we on a wave? A nice wave. Maybe the Caribbean, I'm Jamaica. Maybe the Caribbean is nice, smooth wave. That's wave coming in.
Right.
Yeah. So in that scenario, that description, I agree. Yes, we are. So let's bring those shooters out there. Let's see what Parrish Doug is gonna say to you, and Parrish gets up in there and drops some stuff. There goes the YouTube channel for the football. It's nice start, by the way. I like that. Nice tight start.
Yeah, and it was just a pilot joint that we were just throwing out there, but we are going to add more content to that, and maybe we could talk some Giants football and all that stuff. But right now, I want to make sure that I get an answer to this question that has been befuddling me all day. Because this morning I jumped up and had a production meeting, and then we did the joint midday with Subliminal 209. Then I worked on a couple videos for Patreon. For the Patreon thing is real, man. That thing is. I put a couple fire videos out there, man.
Oh yeah. Right.
All the Knicks. How close are the Knicks to purgatory?
Wow.
That was my, how close are the Knicks to purgatory? Was my thing, was my video, my feeling going into that was I'm just gonna put this out there to let the Knicks know that we're in a real good place, headed with the arrow pointing up. But the more questions I ask, the more I ask myself, maybe we're closer to the middle with these veterans than I think.
Mm.
Maybe it's time to get rid of some vets and just go with this youth movement. What are you thinking? What are you thinking there? Are we and should we get rid of these veterans and ride that youth wave, avoid purgatory, or do you think we need these veterans to help these young kids do something in the playoffs?
I am moving with the young kids. I'm dumping the vets. I'm going fresh, clean start. Just let's roll with these young kids. Let's add more pieces to them. And I'm saying let's run with them. I'm ready, basically at a point, even though yesterday, you see those signs that get your hopes up. I was walking by this coffee spot and in walks a little kid with a Spider-Man outfit on. I'm like, Spider-Man. Oh, we're going to get Spider.
It's got to be destiny, bro. It's got to be destiny.
Exactly.
It's got to be destiny.
So little things like that, I'm like, oh, man, get it back in that. But I'm like, you know what? Last year I've been talking now. I would be happy to just let IQ and Deuce to the point. Give Obi the reins to the power. I won my RJ right there at small forward. I mean, sorry, at the two. And I am making that next step. And I was even willing to let Mitchell go and roll with, even Sims. I know that would be dangerous, but, iHeart, give him some cheese, but I'm okay with Sims. Mitchell's still young, so I'm good with him staying. So I'm literally going to go with that, of course, Grimes instead of Fournier. So we're talking about an 8-9-man rotation.
What's up? What happened, man? What happened?
The Ham Savage.
What happened? Did somebody say something about our guy?
I just saw a Ham Savage video pop up. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody Subway trying to bust in there. I think we're not sponsored by Subway, man. What's going on? What?
Oh man.
Man. Every time I think Obi, man, I just think like Obi is a dog, bro. Obi's a dog. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the individual pieces are not better than the sum total of the pieces. Right?
Right.
Because every time we bring up the youngsters, right? Every time we bring up the youngsters, right? I still feel like,
Right.
But my thing is all of them together.
Right.
It's the reason why I made the wave analogy, and not the individual drop analogy.
Yeah.
Right. I think all of them together, Mitch, RJ, Obi, Quickly, Grimes, McBride, Sims, Hunt, Reddish, all of them together are something. But as individual pieces, when you ask me what Obi Toppin can become with regular starters minutes, I'm not impressed.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask me what Obi Toppin can help the Knicks achieve by being a team player, I'm impressed by that.
Yes.
When you ask me, like, what can Quentin Grimes do? Can Quentin Grimes become an all-star? I don't care. But can Quentin Grimes become a quality team player? Then I'm impressed.
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean? And so I'm not gonna preach like the old timers do. Man, the name on the back is not as important as the name. I don't care nothing about it. Bobby Knight never impressed me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Bobby Knight wasted a lot of talent trying to play team ball. That whole, you remember how good Isaiah Thomas was? Man, Isaiah Thomas could have averaged 40 points a game at Indiana if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He could have averaged 40 points a game at Indiana. Instead, Bobby Knight, Dean Smith.
Yep.
You remember how Dean Smith had the shackles on Jordan?
Exactly.
Jordan could have averaged 35 points a game in the ACC if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But Dean Smith wanted to. And even with all of that, Dean Smith only won 2 national championships. He coached for 1,000 years and won 2 national championships. Right?
Now the chef let his guys loose.
Yep.
Yeah. They definitely had their talent displayed.
Right.
And Jordan was looking like a solid player. Looked like, I mean, unless you just watch the game closely, you saw the skills.
Yeah.
Or the overall perspective, yeah. You saw a nice team game. Man.
Right. Yeah, man. And so I guess what I'm getting at is I don't know if RJ Barrett impresses you as a player, like an individual guy, but I do think he will impress you as a team player.
Exactly. Again, I call RJ my Derek Jeter. I know.
Oh, God.
Been on the captain, but in the sense that, he's not going to win. He's going to win. I mean, he didn't win a Golden Glove. But he's not going to win MVP. He'll never be the best shortstop ever. But he's going to be that glue, that little je ne sais quoi, that thing that you go, I don't know how to describe what it is that he brings, but he brings it. And he makes a team just fit. And that's what I think. RJ is. Something about him does make the team kind of like work. I think IQ has the same quality. There's a leadership there that is not going to be openly displayed all the time. But something about make the guys goes, yo, let's run. Let's do this together. That's why I want to see them give it a shot. I want to see them get full chance to do it. And we bring in Mitchell, or even, I think even always stay the same with Rose there. Man, I'm worried about IQ getting pushed back. I know Duke's going to get pushed back on playing time. It could be challenging, especially with Tibbs, looking for the guys he trusts. And again, I can't blame a guy for trusting people he's seen produce in the past.
Right.
But at the same time, it's so tough to not let him see what the other guys got, especially if we end up, being below 500, with any kind of moves that happens right now.
Ultimately, what are you asking for?
I'm asking for a new coach, and I'm asking for us to trade the vets.
Okay. All right. Wait. Let me, because I heard you say that. I heard you say that, but I want you to be specific though, because I knew that's the direction you were going. Because you told me whatever. But what I'm asking you is, ultimately, what do you really want? Like, what do you want? Just not just get rid of Tibbs and get rid of the vets. Tell me what you want specifically.
I want to see a fresh. I mean, I want to explore the unknown. I'm a Twilight Zone kind of guy. I want to just explore the unknown and take basically a gamble. Actually, one guy, someone in the chat just says, that's what he's looking at the lottery for the next few years. But I'm like, the lottery in the sense I thought I was talking about lotto, not the team being in lottery, but that I'm trying to just take a gamble, a risk. I want to go outside the box and go, what is it? This is going to be a dangerous move. It's letting Fournier go, letting Rose go, just, letting even Randall potentially. I'm okay with keeping Randall either way, but just say, you know what? Right now, our oldest player is Randall. Imagine that kind of team. And people go, that's never worked. That's never worked in NBA. There's always some vets there. And then if we do keep Tibbs, he's always going to go back to the guys who's shown him in the past what's happening. I do think he does look at the practice sometimes and see guys earning their spots. I thought earn your spot, but I think he falls back on his just old reliable. I've seen Rose do it.
You do it.
Exactly.
You do it in your own. You do it in your own life.
Exactly.
Like the things that you can trust. You lean on them, right? Like I do it too. Like I got a bunch of I have a bunch of clothes in my closet, right?
Yeah.
Right, just a bunch of clothes, but there are like certain dress shirts and certain slacks and certain shoes that I just like to wear because I like the way they look on me.
Exactly.
But then as I go deeper in my closet, I'm like, damn, what am I doing with a rose colored dress shirt? When did I buy this? And I probably have had it as long as the other stuff, but I never tried it because I don't trust what it's gonna look like on all these muscles. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or like I have like purple suede dress shoes, right? And I brag like, man, yeah, I could go in my closet and pull out such and such. And I got the bedazzled. Nah, I don't want to call them bedazzled or whatever, but the loafers with like the diamonds in them, and they're not real diamonds because I only paid like $90 for them, so I know they're not diamonds, right? But they look like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I never wear them. Right? I have them, and it's the same thing with guys. Once you get to a certain age, you want to try new things, but you want to try new things, but not depend on new things.
Exactly.
And there's a difference, right? Like, Sarge, you ever bought the same car twice?
Oh yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I bought a Ford Explorer twice in like 4 days.
Yeah.
Fishing twice. I'm like, man, looking back, I'm like, man, why did I get that Benz that rolls like Uncle Freezy?
Well, I got it because I got an SUV because my knees are bad. I'm just tired of sitting low to the ground, bro.
Right, me too.
You know, I'm a tall dude, man. Sitting low to the ground, it's just something bad on my knees and joints, bro. I just like the mid-size SUVs. I got a small one. Well, not a small one. It's not compact. It's I guess it is medium.
Right.
But the Mercedes is big.
Exactly.
But it rides medium, if you feel me.
Yeah.
Like it's spacious on the inside. It's a big vehicle, right? But I can whip it. I can drive it. It's like I could drive it like a mid-size SUV. Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point I'm getting at is why do we blame Tibbs for doing things that come natural to everybody?
Right. Exactly.
Like and Keith Turner, Billy Goat, Boulevard, everybody can attest. They do things that come that it's like Friday night and you can't figure out what it is that you want to eat. Guess what you do? You pick out a meal that you had before.
Yeah.
Right? You pick out a meal that you had before because you know you can trust it. You don't take a gamble on a new meal when it's like 8:30. You're like, dog, I'm supposed to eat before 7. It's 8:30. Here I am let me try something brand new. Nah, because if you don't like it, you're not gonna eat. Right?
Yep.
And so it's one of them. It's one of them things that what Tibbs does is the same thing that everybody else does, except when he does it, he just picks lower quality players to execute what it is. And that's our problem. Not the decision itself, but the results from the decision that he made.
Right.
You feel me? Like for instance, if Tibbs needed an old big man off the bench and that old big man was Al Horford, you wouldn't even have a problem with it.
Right.
We have a problem with it because it's Taj Gibson.
Yep. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? If Tibbs went to old reliable, think about it, man. Think about it. If Tibbs said, "Yo, I need a old man scorer off the bench. I need some old reliable," and he picks Alec Burks, we have a problem. But if that player was Carmelo Anthony, we wouldn't have a problem. Chat, am I on to something or am I crazy? Am I losing it? Because honestly, I've heard people say this a lot of times, and I never agreed with it because I think it's kind of like a thinking. I think in their judgment of Tibbs, they're thinking just like Tibbs, right?
Yep.
Like by saying Tibbs only goes Tibbs likes to rely on depend on all reliable. Well, that point that they make is an all reliable point because it's easy to question somebody's decision after the fact.
Right.
Right. But if that decision had worked, you would never have questioned it.
Exactly. Yep. I mean,
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just looking at one of the chat talking about that even Leon Rose is playing it really safe.
Right.
All his draft picks were relatively conservative. All his moves were relatively conservative.
Right.
No high risk, high reward player. So I'm like, yeah, that's true. We're not taking this. We're not taking a risk. We're playing safe. I mean, and again, it's not a bad way to go because we're in a better place than we've ever been before as far as having the availability of assets to make moves and be in position right now to get someone like Donovan. But it's still somewhat a safe move we're doing to just not necessarily take a chance that's going to take us to the next level, but it's going to incrementally build that wave, like you're saying.
Right.
And some people want to see that tsunami. They want to see a chance and be like, complete chaos. Let's go for it and see what happens. Now, I don't know.
Isn't that besides? Ain't that going from one disaster to another?
That is huge, strong possibility. Exactly.
Right. You go from being in a desert without water. Right. Burning up in the sun. That's a disaster scenario.
Yeah.
And the other scenario is, so you want to go from one extreme to the other. Then you're like, well, in order to get out of the desert, let's just bring in a tsunami to wash away everything and drown.
Right.
So in one scenario, you die from exhaustion. The other scenario, you die because you drowned. or maybe not even die from drowning. The worst thing about a tsunami is not even die from water for drowning you. It's all the stuff that's swept up by the tsunami. Cars and trees and roofs and boats. So you may not die from drowning. You might get clubbed upside the head by a boat motor and a tsunami. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
You don't know where the hit's gonna come from.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
man.
I knew you like Usman Ding. You'd have liked to have held on to him and see what he got. Yes.
You just ripping my heart out, bro. You just tearing my heart out. I said that on Subliminal 209 in them show, Knicks After Party.
Right.
Right. They asked me who I wanted. I was like, yo, the secret player that I want is Usman Jing. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah. If the Knicks draft him at 11, I wouldn't be mad. And then draft day come, and the commissioner's like, with the number 11 pick in the NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Usman Jing, and blah blah blah, and secretly I'm like, yes. and then we get the Woj bomb. Usman Jing is being traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm like, no, they ripping my heart out, man.
Yeah,
but
man. And I was on the same page thinking, oh, Leon Rose, this is going to be the move. The guys we really worried are gone. 11 pick. Let's see the Leon Rose trade back and get 2 picks. And let's go to like number 25 and take Nikola Jovic. And then another pick to come back up with and get another cat that's sitting back there. What's his name from Ohio State, that power forward. And I'm like, oh, man, he's going to grab 2 potential ballers. And I'm like, oh, man. And then, like EJ Liddell. I was thinking going to grab Liddell and Jovic. I'd be like, that's a brilliant Leon Rose move.
Right.
Man, that's a nice risk. Nice chance right there.
Right.
Take that. Then, boom. Nada.
Then, bim, nada.
Exactly.
Nada.
And then we go, we don't want Durant. We want to pay Mitchell. We want to get Detroit off Mitchell's back and leave him alone so we can grab him. So, I mean, yes, acquisitions of some trade assets some potential. But I'm not a big fan of protected picks, man. You know, I'm just not a big fan of protected picks. So
why not? Why not though?
They convey when it's going to convey. I mean, the possibility is, again, they could all convey next year because every team that we have protected picks probably could, end up, in the, out of the lottery, and we may grab them, and then we end up with what 3 or 4 next year with protected picks. 3 protected, unprotected, our own, and then will that help us move up to get any of those cats that we want?
Right.
I'm not sure anyone's going to give up any of those top 5 picks. Even if we say here 3 first-round picks right now for this year, you can, whatever your team is, your team needs 4 players, man. Here are 3 of them. I'm sure Dan Ainge will be sitting right there going, 4 picks. But again, if Danny is number 2, he's taking a number 2 cat.
Right.
So I'm just never been a fan of protected picks.
So let me say this real quick. So if you like the conversation that you're hearing and you want to continue to hear conversations like this one, subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. Consider joining the Blorange Tears family by clicking on the join button on the Blorange Tears YouTube homepage. Also, for deeper, more in-depth conversations, for the deep dives, for those of y'all that are hardcore Knicks fans that just want a conversation about one specific topic, a video about one specific topic, consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page. I think we set the bar low. I think it's like $2 a month for one and $5 a month for another. And what you get for like Sarge, what's $2 divided by 30? Let me see. I'm going to pull out the calculator. So $2 divided by 30.
7.66, I think.
I'm sorry. You say that one more time?
I said 7.66.
$2 divided by 7.66. That sounds about right?
About it.
I think that must be that. Is that Brooklyn math?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically for about 7 cents a day, you guys can watch videos, engage in conversations, and things like that sort on the Patreon page. So it's like for 7 cents a day or something weird like that.
Right.
We're not trying to rule the world. You know what I'm saying? We just need some bread to update stuff like cameras, like this camera right here, and lighting in here, and different stuff, so we could do more stuff with. So if y'all find it in your heart to do it. If not, we still all family. You know what I'm saying? But also, I want to address this question just real quick. Saul, did you see the question on the screen from Jonathan Green? He says, the trade stalling is a good thing or bad thing? So what are you thinking?
Oh man. That's a great question, man. I'm on the fence a little bit because I let my
not because that little boy wore the Spider-Man suit. Please tell me it wasn't because of that. Please tell me it's not because of that, Sarge.
No, it's because of my love to have a New Yorker bring us the championship. I'd be a big.
Oh my God!
And that's so huge to me to have a. It feels. Just the idea of a New Yorker bringing it, because we waited so long. We might as well make it big. Let's ask for everything, right?
Right.
And a guy who's being doubted, including with Brunson. Guys who chip on their shoulders. I want that kind of cat that comes in and be like, "Oh, you doubted me? Oh, you think I'm too short? Or this?" And then I'm from New York, I'm coming in with a New York attitude, with the New York energy. Right. That influences me wanting to try to go for it. But at the same time, again, I sometimes I check my head to my heart, heart kind of battle. So in my heart, that's where I am. But in my head, nah.
Donovan Mitchell's not worth it to you.
Not worth it. Let's move. Let's make the move. Let's just step away. Let's go. Again,
just keep what you have.
Keep what you have. and make it clear. Okay, we negotiate. Thank you. Making an announcement. Danny Ainge, put out there. I said, Leon, put something. Let's diss Danny to a point. Be like, thank you, Utah, but no thanks. Leon Rose tweet.
Right.
We're happy with what we got, and next
Right.
and we're gonna make our moves that we need to make right now for those free agents that are sitting out there that gonna get snatched up before this deal potentially closes or doesn't or collapses.
Right.
Like you before, why let these other cats who are sitting there waiting for deals get snatched up and we end up with Kemba and Fournier? I mean, nothing against Fournier, but definitely against Kemba. But to have the last couple of weeks and go, oh, we do need somebody here. We need to fill the cap space here, etc. Let's grab two guys off the block. Now, let's work out Schrader. Let's work out Sexton. Let's look at all the power forwards and small forwards. Let's go look for the threes, the wings, which we're also really need. Let's go see who's out there and go, okay, who wants a $5 million?
So I think that's a major mistake, bro. I think it's a major mistake. And the reason why I'm saying it that way, and I'm saying it as a cautionary tale thing, is this team, in my opinion, is a 35 win to 45 win team. The high end being 45, I think that's where we are. Right. But if injuries hit us, I think we're too good to be a lottery team.
True.
Which means we're in that purgatory.
Yeah.
Like say for instance, if Jalen Brunson comes here and gets hurt, right? I don't think we're bad enough with R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quick, all the babies, to be a lottery team that's in the running for the Thompson twins or Victor Wembanyama or Scoot Henderson.
Right.
We won't be in that running, right? But we won't be a playoff team either. So we'll be in that thing called purgatory.
Right.
Like where you're not bad enough to get a quality player, but you're not good enough to make the playoffs. And say, even with Brunson, and say Randall gets hurt. Right? Say Randall gets hurt, and Randall's a horse. Randall will play through injuries. He shouldn't, but he does. Right? King Aunt G is in the building. So it's like if you don't go get Donovan Mitchell, you're a 45 win team. We might be the 8th seed, right? But then we run across the Boston Celtics. Say Celtics are the number 1 seed. Our arch rivals.
Right.
I mean, our arch rivals. Not the Pacers, not the Sixers, not the Hawks, but I'm talking about a New York-Boston rivalry.
Yeah.
They're good and we ain't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, anybody that knows anything about sports knows a lot about the New York football team, the New York football teams against the New England football team, right? Or anything that knows anything about baseball knows about the New York baseball teams, plural, against the Boston baseball team. We, all of us, have history there, right? The Mets and Red Sox have history. The Yankees and the Boston Red Sox have history, right? And to make the 8th seed undermanned against the juggernaut, which is the Boston Celtics, only makes us regret not having a weapon to go up against those Celtics teams. Because what's going to happen is we'll probably get gentlemen swept. We'll probably win 1 game at the Garden. They'll beat us 2-0 in Boston. And then we'll probably win game 3. Right, and then they'll win the next 2 games, and they'll be dancing all over the place in the Boston Garden. This the real Garden. This the real Garden, and this is the real Garden right here, Boston Garden.
Right.
The other garden is a fake garden.
And
me and you will be next summer around the same time having the same conversation.
Right.
Like, Sarge, do you regret not having Donovan Mitchell now? And you'll be like, man, but we wouldn't have won a series anyway. And of course not. But we would have played them in a different round. Instead of getting swept, a gentleman swept in round 1, we probably would have lost to them in round 2 and maybe in 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
But the feeling would be different because we would have advanced past the first round and knowing that we need another piece to go up against that juggernaut, which is those juggernauts, which are the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics of the world, the Philadelphia 76ers of the world. But as it stands right now, we're not beating anybody. In a perfect scenario, we are first round fodder for the Boston Celtics. In our best case scenario. In the worst case scenario, we missed a play-in. We finish about 11th, 12th in the Eastern Conference, and we pick about 10 or 11, and we're just out because next year's draft is going to have 8 guys with all-star potential, and we'll be drafting 10.
True. That's true. Now, was that Jerry Fitz actually just bringing one argument to that case? Without getting Mitchell and expiring contracts next year, before signing RJ, we'll have $30 million on the cap.
So
it's going to be someone available that we can sign here. No. Who think about the free agents next year. You think Kawhi Leonard coming here? I mean, think about the free agent list, and think about $30 million, and think about what the superstars are making right now. James Harden took a pay cut, and he's getting paid $38 million. Right.
And you think a star? You think a star is going to take a haircut of $20 million a year to sign for 30 to come play with Obi, Quickly, and Grimes?
Unless we trade Randall at midseason and bring our boy, Westbrook over here, and we go and we have the $40 million space.
And so look at this. This is the stuff I'm talking about. And no knock on Khan, but think about this. Wiggins is a free agent, right?
Right.
You think Wiggins is leaving the NBA champs to come play for New York? And think about Middleton. You think about Middleton is leaving a championship contender. He got a ring with Milwaukee. You thinking he gonna leave Milwaukee to come play for New York? Come on, man. Nah, bro. I get our positive thinking because there is power in positive thinking, but at one point, is positive thinking and foolish thinking mistaken for each other?
Yes, sir. I mean, again, for me, the part of it is the fatigue of waiting for the deal to be done, where I've compromised my desire to say, I think we have these picks. We have a star who wants to be here. Let's just make the move. And these young people we have are not necessarily going to be stars, more likely not. Let's make the move and bring us that star. I personally love Donovan Mitchell. I want him to be on this team, and more than just the New York aspect. And I do think he's Dwayne Wade. I do think he's another year or two away from being a legitimate borderline superstar.
Right. No, and I agree with you, man. My deal is though. My deal is I understand where you're coming from, right? And I don't want to be the wet blanket,
right?
But I do project forward on these scenarios because they've happened to us before. So, am I speaking from the perspective of a scorned Knicks fan? Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I am speaking to that. Right. Am I speaking from the perspective of a New York fan that is New York in most sports, right? I'm New York in most sports. I'm a Chicago Bears fan, and it's a reason for that, right? And it has nothing to do with the Giants. It has everything to do about the community I grew up in Jersey City, right? So, Sauce, the reason why I'm not a Giants fan, I'm not a Jets fan, is because in the hood we used to play this game called Free for All, where you throw the football up in the air and whoever catch it got to try to run and score a touchdown, and everybody else got to try to tackle them. And so everybody was picking all the great running backs. People were like, "Oh man, I'm John Riggins." You remember John Riggins?
Oh man,
John Riggins from the Jets. The Jets, John Riggins.
Oh, okay, so you're in Redskins, John Riggins. Was he?
Oh, either way.
Yeah,
but back then he was a Jet, though. You know what I'm saying? When I was little, he was a Jet. Like during that time. You remember Chuck Foreman from the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah.
And Tony Dorsett.
That's my first introduction to football, and I love TD.
Yeah, man.
To this day, I picture his run. His 99-yard run from scrimmage.
Yep.
This day, man.
Yep. Monday Night Football, right?
Exactly.
Yep. And so who else? Larry Zonka, Mercury Morris, Emerson Boozer. You know what I'm saying? All these great running backs from an era, right? And so everybody was taking all these great running backs, and I was like, oh man, all the good running backs gone. And Mr. Ronald across the street, he used to work at the same place as my dad, but he used to work third shift, right? And my pops worked first shift, right? So they knew each other, but they never they rarely ever seen each other at work, even though they worked at the same place. They worked at Ford Motor Company in Edison, New Jersey.
Okay.
And so I was out there, man. I was just standing, I was pouting. I was pouting, man. When I tell the story, man, I can't believe how, but I was a kid. So anyway, so I'm out there pouting, right? And he's like, hey, Uncle Freezy, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, man, them suckers. And this is the way we used to talk back in the day. Them job suckers. They done took all the good players. And he was like, well, who did they take? And I named off all the good players that they took. And they named all the good dudes, man. All the great running backs, all the great receivers. You remember Drew Pearson?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Tell you what, I'll give you remember Harry Carmichael?
Yep. Oh,
yeah. Harry Carmichael was like 8 foot tall, bro. But anyway, all of them were gone, right? And so he was like, hey, what? All the good players not gone? He's like, yeah, all the good players gone. He was like, nah, man. Nobody took Walter Payton. I was like, Walter Payton?
Wow.
And he's like, yeah, man, Walter Payton, he that young boy. And Walter Payton was a rookie, right? He's like, yo, man, Walter Payton, that young boy from Chicago, boy, he be running people over, and he the next OJ.
Yeah.
And I was like, OJ Simpson? He's like, yeah, man.
Wow.
And so that night, the Bears are playing, I think the Bears are playing like Kansas City or Minnesota or something. And he's like, come on over, man. Come on over and watch the game with Lil Ron. Back then, they never said Ron Jr. It was like always Big Ron and Lil Ron, right? Or whoever senior was Big something like Big Al and Lil Al, right? You know what I'm saying? Nobody was saying like AJ or nothing like that, right? So it was, man, come on. Hey, Lil Ron, me and Lil Ron was going to watch the game. Come on over. And so I go over, and I'm going to get back to the Knicks, y'all. I promise you. And so I go over, and they wife, I forget her name, but she was so pretty, man. She was so fine for the 70s. It's like the mid 70s. She was beautiful, man. She looked like Walona from Good Times. You remember Walona from Good Times?
Oh, exactly. The neighbor.
Yeah. So she was in there making pork chops using this thing called shake and bake.
Oh.
She did shake and bake pork chops and rice-a-roni. Man, Man, look, and see, my family from down south, so we ain't did no shake and bake, no rice-a-roni.
Mhm.
We had, man, my mama would cake that flour on some pork chops and fry that thing
Yeah.
and make some rice and gravy. Man, we had no rice-a-roni. We had rice and gravy. But anyway. So I go over and the game about to start and everything get quiet. His wife trying to talk. He's like, shh, baby, don't say nothing. Just fix Uncle Freezy some banana pudding and some Kool-Aid. I done ate that rice-a-roni and then I done ate that rice-a-roni and the pork chops, man. I'm in there by half sleep because I ain't never had my little tummy full like that. Man, rice-a-roni for shake and bake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I was in. She bought that banana pudding in there. I could smell it coming. It's just like going. I'm like, and you remember shag carpet?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in that shag carpet, man, and about to watch a game, eating that banana pudding, and they make a toss to Walter Payton, and everybody on the Chiefs defense is back there. They grabbing them, pulling them, but they can't get him down. And I'm like, oh man, this dude's sorry, but he's still on the ground yet. And he juking, and dude's falling. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And he jukes a dude, and the dude fall down and grab another dude on his team, and they fall down, and Walter Payton breaks a 65-yard touchdown run off a pitch. The ball and the defender got there at the same time. Off a pitch, right? And he trying to shake people, he throwing people off and all this stuff, and the dude come from out of nowhere and hit him, bam! And the dude fall down, and he grabbing at Walter Payton, and then it start to snow, and Walter Payton just take off down the other sideline, gone, touchdown.
Oh man!
And I turn around and I look at Big Ron like, I told you.
Oh,
I told you. And then the next play, then they quarterback, he was garbage, right? They stopped running. Walter Payton run for a touchdown, right? So then they don't give him the ball for like 2 possessions. 3 possessions. They giving it to the backup running back. They trying to throw it. The quarterback drop back to throw, and he throw. It's a pick 6. The cornerback from the Chiefs, man, pick it off running back for a touchdown. He high stepping the whole way, and the Bears is like losing by like 20. And I'm like, man, this game over, man. Big Ron, man, I gotta go home before it get too late. Nah, he's like, nah, just call your mama. Just go in there and call your mama, tell her you watching the game. I come on. I'm like, Ma, I'm still at Big Ron house. Don't call him Big Ron. Call him Mr. Ron. And I'm like, man, Big Ron, she want me to call you Mr. Ron. He's like, don't worry about that. Women always be trying. This is him talking like right by the phone. Women always be trying to tell men what to do. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? So basically what happens is Walter Payton runs for like 230 yards. He run for 2 touchdowns, catch another touchdown, and the Bears still lose.
Yeah.
And the next day I see him. I got my Fruit of the Loom t-shirt right on. I got my Fruit of the Loom t-shirt on, and on it, on the front, I got 34, and on the back, I got number 10. And he's like, why you got 34 on the front and 10 on the back? And I was like, yo, no matter how much I love Walter Payton, I ain't gonna love nobody more than I love Clyde Frazier. And he's like, boy, you so crazy. Boy, God, the Knicks is trash. They ain't gonna. He like the Knicks is old, and so that's a story for another day. But anyway, that's how come I'm a Bears fan.
That's funny as heck.
Yeah, man.
You call your mom on the phone. It was a rotary dial.
Yep.
With an early string connected.
Yep.
That file was twisted up and stretched out.
Yep. And it could reach from the wall in the kitchen. It could reach all the way into like their bedroom and part way in the living room. And yes, it was lime green.
Yes.
Because our kitchen was lime green, the table was lime green, and with the lime green chairs. And then once we got into the 80s, she replaced it with a yellow phone, and we painted the kitchen yellow.
Oh man,
canary yellow. Yes, old school. We old school. Listen, old school.
And you had to memorize. You had to memorize because you didn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
I remember that telephone number right now. 433-0738. That was our telephone number back then. That was our telephone. I still remember that telephone number to this day. Right?
Yep.
But
yeah.
Yeah, man. So that's how come I got to be a Walter Payton fan. But the Knicks though, and I ain't gonna try to turn it into old school Knicks or nothing like that. But what I'm saying though, to your point, man, is this. I think if we don't make a move and we just go in with the guys that we got, I think we are setting ourselves up for another heartbreak, and not because of the roster not reaching their max potential. But because they did reach their max potential and it just wasn't good enough.
Right.
And there's a difference.
Yeah.
It's one thing aspiring to something great and not reaching it. But it's another thing aspiring to something great and reaching it and realizing that it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Which one is the most heartbreaking to you?
Oh man, that second one, man.
Realizing in life that you're not good enough.
Exactly.
That is more heartbreaking than anything else.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where I am.
Man. I know.
Yeah, man. And so that's why I have these odd conversations with a lot of the old school guys, like with Rob the knowledgeable Nick, with G-Man for life, with Jay Boogie, with yourself, with Parrish Duggar. And it's not because I don't have faith in what the organization is doing. It's that I want to guard myself from the potential heartbreak that could be avoided if we make a reasonable attempt to better our potential outcome. Right?
Yeah.
Because think about this. Say if we don't make a move, and say Jalen Brunson gets hurt, and these young kids reach the Eastern Conference Finals just off of just them getting there, right? There is no heartbreak with that. That's a Disney story,
right?
Right. Yeah. That's a Disney story. But now, say everybody is absolutely healthy and everybody reaches their max potential, and we make the 8th seed and we get steamrolled by the Boston Celtics. Which in that outcome, I that's a heartbreak for me, man.
Yep. True. Man. Because one of my big conflicts is also RJ not playing it too. And that's one of the big challenges. And Mitchell will automatically eliminate that too.
Right.
Number 2. Right. But at the same time, I mean, I've been arguing with Free Key saying we have the assets. We must take a swing. We got to take something to play to make this swing, and we got to do it. Let's swing for the fences right now. We have a chance to do it. We may not have a chance here. Like you said, who's coming next year? Who's going to be available, and who's going to come or want to come? Free agent wise, trade wise, there may be a possibility of someone out there next year.
Right.
But there's no guarantee. And draft wise, like you said, that 10 spot would be another disappointment. And we're sitting there like this year, we're like, okay, Matson, who's gonna get? Oh man, look at those cats right there. But we had a cat who, like you said, could have been someone we could have stuck with Usman.
Right.
You know, Shaden Sharp dropped at 7. Man, I didn't think he was gonna go. So yeah, we're right there to miss just right at the right spot to miss any potentially high level, more likely guaranteed star. Otherwise, taking a risk. So yeah, I don't want to be there again next year. I don't want to sit there at number 10 or 11 and be like, oh man, can we move up? And then can't. So let's go for it, man. Let's swing for the fences. I'm saying bring Donovan home. I'm ready to welcome him home. You know, because
I'm with you on that. I am aware that there is an overpay scenario out there, and I don't want to do that. King Angie, what's good?
What's up, Aaron?
What's up?
Not
pull the trigger.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Something happened with King Angie. I don't know what.
Right.
Angie, can you hear me? Okay. All right. So I had a comment starred. I wanted so Paris Zucker says, tell me something. How come nobody joined Donovan Mitchell in Utah? You want to answer that one first?
You want me to answer it or King?
No, go ahead, bro.
Man, Utah. Do I need to say more? It's Utah.
Right.
I mean, why isn't anyone moving, to Sacramento? Even Sacramento is a bigger city than Utah and more populous.
Right.
But it's Utah. Why Minnesota? Why is no one going there? OKC, why is no one going there? Come on.
Yeah, Sacramento is the capital of California.
Exactly. It's the market.
Right.
People going there. It's not him.
Right.
It's like the management. I mean, Ainge is a brilliant front office guy. Historically, of course, he set the pattern. But it's the place, it's the city, it's the market. People are not going to those small market teams. That has not had any history of major moves, major victories. So yeah, call a small market team and you say, oh yeah, what's Boston's population or whatever you want to throw out there. But they've been winners. So unless you have had the history or you actually have the market, no one's coming. You got to raise your talent.
Right. Right. What I'll say to it is about the how come nobody joined Donovan Mitchell in Utah. It depends. First of all, you gotta break the question down. First of all, who is nobody? Right? Who is nobody? Right? Is that nobody somebody just somebody that we don't like or respect? Right? And then the other part of the question is join Donovan Mitchell. If Donovan Mitchell was in another market, would somebody have joined? Think about it. If Donovan Mitchell was in Miami by himself, would somebody join Donovan Mitchell putting up those numbers in Miami, Florida? Or is this a Utah issue, like what Sarge was saying? Is this just a Utah issue? What I would say in respect to the question is this: the question is how come nobody joined Donovan Mitchell in Utah? Meaning, how come? And I'm taking liberty with the question: how come stars didn't line up to go play with Donovan Mitchell in Salt Lake City? And ultimately, it boils down to this: for one, it's Salt Lake City, right? Right. For two, you have to be available in order to leave your current team and go to another team. You have to be available, right? So even if Devin Booker, say the wildest scenario, so even if Devin Booker was available, say via trade to Utah, what did Utah have that Phoenix would accept for Devin Booker? That's just something to consider. And the reason why I think that answer is reasonable, because look at what the Knicks may be forced to pay for Donovan Mitchell, who's available to come play for the Knicks. Right? Think about that. Like, think about availability. Like, how come nobody joined Donovan Mitchell in Utah? You got to look at the availability of stars, right? And we think the Salt Lake City thing is real, right? But say people are willing to sacrifice the way that they live in order to go play basketball with Donovan Mitchell. Say somebody is willing to sacrifice quality of life in order to go play with Donovan Mitchell. Right? Now, what does that team have to, or what does Utah have aside from Donovan Mitchell to offer a team to get another star? I just want to I just want to throw that out there, because it's like when I answer the questions, I think these questions are smart. I think because what Paris Duggan asked was a smart question. I'm not gonna lie to you. Right? But at the same time, you have to consider all the possibilities. You have to consider all the possibilities, right? Right. Say even if Julius Randle wanted to go to Utah, what does Utah have that the Knicks would accept for Julius Randle? Don't tell me a dude on a torn Achilles and a dude that doesn't play defense, a dude that's going to be Obi Toppin's backup, right? A dude that's going to be Obi Toppin's backup, and some draft picks that are going to be protected. That's not worth it for Julius Randle. I mean, I'm just asking to like think about this stuff, not from a perspective of just swapping players like it's NBA 2K, because life doesn't exist like that. King Aunt G is in the building.
Yo, I'm alive.
What's good, boss? Yo,
Nah,
Kendall Rivera looking for you, bro.
Who?
Rivera.
Who that?
Kendall Rivera, Mr. Rivera. He trying to do the new school Knicks thing. He doing new school Knicks thing tomorrow morning at 9:00. He was looking for you.
Oh, for real? He got he on Twitter?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I don't know, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Okay. Nah, yeah.
I don't know.
Chop it up.
Yeah, they got so old school Knicks and new school Knicks to be on tomorrow. New school Knicks is 9 to about 11. Old school Knicks is 11 until probably about 11 till 1. And one of the topics we're going to discuss is how come Knicks fans are scared to trade for a star, right? And we're looking at it from two perspectives, like the old school perspective at 11 and the new school perspective at 9. I'm sorry. And I think part of it, I think the new school fans are going to look at like the Carmelo Anthony example. And the old school fans are going to look at the Bernard King example. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of them. Are we scarred from? Are we scarred from the Carmelo Anthony trade? The mentally scarred, emotionally scarred from the Carmelo Anthony trade, and old school fans are going to be like, are we emotionally scarred from the Bernard King trade? And I will honestly admit that I am, because the Knicks traded one of my favorite players for Bernard King.
That's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that saying that Knicks fans are the most intelligent basketball fans and all of this stuff. You know, I ain't gonna get too much into it because we probably talked about it tomorrow morning. But I think some of that is the issue. Like a guy who creates the roller coaster or understands every part of it doesn't have as much fun when he's riding it, because you know he's looking at all of the, you know.
Oh wow, that's a great example.
The deep stuff into it, but somebody that doesn't know anything about how roller coasters are made, they can enjoy the ride, right? Because they're just in the moment. Sometimes I think Knicks fans are too intelligent for their own good, that they just overthink things that should just be really fun.
Right, but you're speaking to their intellect or their emotion.
I think both.
You know, we should probably save that for in the morning.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we need to save that for in the morning, man. Because you already got my mind racing already. Boy, I can't wait. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be a crazy one.
It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. And just again, a programming note, man. Hey family, look, we're trying to do we launched a Patreon page where we have some videos up and running right now. One of them is how close are the Knicks to purgatory. It's an excellent video. It breaks down where we could be, right? Where we come from and where we are. In a realistic aspect. No Homer talk. No, if Obi could play 39 minutes a game, none of that. It's straight up where we are in the moment. And so the other video is why trade for Donovan Mitchell. And so we break down the pros and the cons, right? And from a Knicks perspective, and we have a resolution. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, the Patreon page is up and running. The link is in the description of this video. And that's for the super hardcore fans, man.
Yeah.
That's for the super hardcore fans. Like for those that absolutely can't live without the Knicks, that's for y'all. You know what I'm saying? For us casuals that just like to have the conversations like this one, you know what I'm saying? You know, we still rocking.
Anybody that's stream tonight is a diehard, man. If you up here at 1:00 in the morning typing your fingers away, man, you a special Knicks fan.
I can't help it, bro. You know, I can't help it, bro. I can't help it, man. So my thing is Aunt G, but before you showed up, we were talking about are the Knicks riding a wave? I don't know if you heard it, but we're speaking to, are the Knicks riding a wave? Like starting with Mitchell Robinson, the whole thing of the Knicks always swing and miss on lottery picks has been debunked. Like Mitchell Robinson was a solid pick in the second round. RJ Barrett was a solid pick in the first round. Obi Toppin was a solid pick in the first round. Quentin Grimes was a solid pick in the first round. Miles McBride, Jericho Sims were solid second round picks. Trading Kevin Knox for Cam Reddish was a solid trade because you got rid of a lottery bust for a guy with high upside. And then you found Farron Hunt on the scrap heap from the New Orleans Pelicans, you know, that had too many guys that played his position. They got Herb Jones. They got Trey Murphy. They got Zion, Brandon Ingram. They couldn't keep Farron Hunt.
Right.
Like Farron Hunt wasn't a bad player, right? No. They just couldn't keep him. It was either keep Jose Alvarado or Farron Hunt. You make the choice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we get Farron Hunt off the scrap heap, you know what I'm saying, with a promise to play. And before you know it, he's inked to a two-way with the potential to make the big roster. And now all of a sudden you have 9 kids. 9 kids, right? What is this mess?
Yeah.
Let's get delete it.
That means you made it, Freezy. You made it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That means somebody subscribed to the channel just to do that.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Viewers are increasing. What's up with you new crazy New Yorkers, man? I can't believe you guys, man. For me, it's LA. I'm 10:00 my time, so I'm cool. You're the ones up there 1 a.m. I'm like, man, those are some fans.
Right.
Heads, man.
I'm telling you, I remember. I know Freezy remember with MBK, man. Early days, there was a lot of late nights.
Yeah.
A lot of late nights, and you know, this is you know, MBK is doing some different things, you know, with the content, and Freezy kind of filled that void of just like, you know, it's that late night getting up here and just chopping it up.
Right.
I think that, you know, that this fills a void in the community.
Right.
Yeah, and it fills a void, man. And I appreciate it, man, because sometimes it's hard to catch these other shows, and you know what time Freezy gonna be on. You know when Freezy gonna be there. So it makes it real easy to you know, hop on and stay engaged.
Man.
You're doing big things. You're doing big things.
Yeah, man. We trying to, and then plus providing a platform for people to come on and speak freely. I know a lot of times, a lot of nights you get real crowded up here, and you don't get a chance, the opportunity to express what it is that you're feeling. And it's just because some nights be more lit than others. You know, I like the nights where we can have the intellectual conversation and not the emotional conversation. Because a lot of nights, man, the emotional conversation
it be over the place, man. We just
man. The emotional conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to speak to that. What I'd like to do is, because for the most part, most of the Knicks fans that I encounter one-on-one are very intelligent people that happen to be Knicks fans, not vice versa.
Right.
Like not smart Knicks fans that are dummies in real life. Like you can't explain nothing to them, they don't get it. Right? Like they can't understand why we paid Jalen Brunson so much. Right? The reason why we paid Jalen Brunson so much is because we knew we could put him on a descending contract, right? Start him off with the highest amount, and as the years go by, it gets lower and lower and lower to a point where in his last year it's a steal.
Right.
But you give him all that money up front so that teams can't outbid you for his services.
Right.
That's why we beat Dallas, because Dallas offered more money overall, but they couldn't offer more money in the first year.
And I think that's a bigger loss for Dallas than people are even talking about right now. Like Dallas is gonna miss Jalen Brunson a whole lot, man. Because that kid he's Luka's the man. Luka's one of those dudes, I believe. But Jalen Brunson was a big part to that team. So I don't think Jason Kidd and Mark Cuban are sleeping well at night right now at all, because they got to find a way to replace that production. And us Knicks fans, I know we talk about Donovan Mitchell a lot, but I don't think we've even given ourselves a chance to really enjoy the fact that we have a real point guard. Point guard.
And there's
King,
point to actually paying someone slightly more than what you think they're worth to show you how much you want them and how much more incentive that is to someone. And I don't know how often you've ever had a raise where the boss gave you more than what you thought you were gonna get.
Right.
And once you got that, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna sweep up the office after work. I'm not just gonna do it. I'm gonna go after it, not just do what I need to get done. So there's a valid argument to that as well. Give someone what they deserve, bump up a little bit more, but also keep it within a range where is this what the market dictates and can we benefit well? So it's a win-win all the way around. Capture the guy with a high upfront, descending contract, so it'll be below market by his third year, and the man gets money where he goes, you know what, they really want me. I'm what I'm getting paid.
Right. Because ultimately, he's getting the bag. He's getting what the Knicks, what he asked for from the Knicks. The Knicks just chose the pay schedule to be different.
Right.
He's guaranteed to be here. He's going to get that money. Right. He's going to get that money. He's just getting it in a different way. More upfront. And then later on, you know what I'm saying, it'll be a declining contract, but so what? Because you got more upfront. It's kind of like a bonus.
Right, exactly.
But you know what it is, Freezy? Knicks fans, and I say Knicks fans a lot, and when I say Knicks fans, I'm speaking about myself as well, right? But a big part of the way I think is self introspection. Like I like to look into myself and see how I think, right? So a lot of the times I catch myself, like when we talking about paying guys and trading for guys, it's like we like to shop for designer off the clearance rack. And it's really hard to do that. Every now and again, you might find something on that clearance rack that's like, oh yeah, this is a steal. But most of the time, when you want something nice, you got to pay for it. Right. And point guards are like quarterbacks in the NFL in the sense that you're gonna pay for a good one. If you want a good one, you're gonna pay for it. So, you know, Jalen Brunson getting $100 million, being a 14th highest rated paid point guard in the league, man, that's about what you're gonna pay for. And if we want a point guard, you gotta pony up and pay that money. So, you know, I think it'll pay off in the long run. He's young, he's been durable. I don't think he's really been injury prone ever in his career.
No,
I don't remember too many games at Villanova that he missed.
Right.
So the kid, I think he was on the CBS Sports podcast. He was just rated the #1 college player in the last decade. Like, this kid is decorated. This kid knows how to win. He knows how to play basketball. And I know Freezy has about 24 hours left on his Donovan Mitchell clock. And I really look forward to talking a little bit more about Jalen Brunson and what he could bring to this team. Because at this moment, Donovan Mitchell was a Utah Jazz. And he's still the enemy right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, man. Yeah, your freezer, your boy Farron Hunt's getting some props in the chat. Even though Keith Turner's calling him Felon Hunt, not Farron Hunt, and I'm like,
Oh, that's wow.
I know, but I think he's just mistyping, man. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully that's
Yeah.
I was just talking about the steals in the game, because I wouldn't mind if he's a high steal guy, then that's a good nickname.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Interesting nickname, Felon Hunt, because he gets steals.
Yeah, man.
And, but I don't think he's gonna get much time if he wants to bring him up, because
But here's the thing though. Here's the thing though, Sarge.
Mm-hmm.
Does it matter if Phelan Hunt gets a ton of minutes if he's defending and locking up Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett in practice?
Perfect.
Help them develop.
Perfect. That's what you've been bringing up to everybody about your teammates, the team you're with. Why you talking about Golden State Warriors? Those rookies come in and they get better because if you're going against challenging people in practice.
Moses Moody is being guarded by Klay Thompson in practice.
Exactly.
Think about that. And Moses Moody has to defend the Klay Thompson in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that makes him better?
Yep.
Of course, it makes him better, especially for a young player. Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. Who's the player that they have? Kuminga. Kuminga has to guard Draymond Green in practice.
Oh man.
And in practice, Draymond Green is guarding Jonathan Kuminga in practice.
Right.
Does that make him better?
Absolutely.
Right. Those are the things. That's why I say we kind of have to get away from the 2K stuff and think about real life stuff.
Right.
It's like that saying, Freezy, if you're the smartest person in the room, like you need to find yourself some new friends. Right. It's like if RJ Barrett we just want him to always be the best player in the room. Like sometimes you got to bring in some guys that are better. And not because you don't believe in the kid, but because you want him to grow. And sometimes, like you said, saying iron sharpens iron, man. You need somebody that can help you to grow. And sometimes you grow the most when you get your butt kicked. Like you know how many NBA players? I think even was Reggie Miller. He talked about how Cheryl Miller used to kick his butt on a basketball court, and that made him a better basketball player because he was tired of his big sister beating him in basketball.
Right. Yep.
So like that helps you to grow when you got somebody that every day that's handing you your behind every practice. Right. You're gonna become a better basketball player.
Right.
It's just gonna happen. Like if you got to guard Melo, I don't care how old Carmelo Anthony is. That man to give you a bucket. If you got to guard him every day in practice, man, guarding Kelly Oubre is not going to be an issue for you because I guard Melo every day. So it's like it's that same mindset, man. We got to keep bringing in talent. Don't be afraid to up your talent level because that's going to help everybody get better.
Exactly. I told my big sister was one of the first women at Gleason's gym in Brooklyn, and so she sparred guys all the time. So when she won 4 straight Golden Gloves. When she fought, women, I mean, she was like, yo, I've been fighting.
See, your sister sound tough, bro. I don't ever want to meet her.
And she's like, she's a ballerina, right? She's a ballet dancer. She injured her knee.
Oh, wow.
What?
So she's like 5'4", 120-pound class, right? So she couldn't fight. Right. But yeah, she's a ballerina and injured her knee. Came to the martial arts with my brother and I. Became a black belt kickboxing champion, went on the tour, and then she said we saw her hands were super fast. We're like, your boxing skills are pretty good, because she was mostly kicks, from ballet, kicks ridiculous, But then she got to Gleason's, and the rest was history. And then like I said, she's in China right now, in Shanghai.
So how did y'all get into that? Did y'all just I'll tell you what. So I started boxing because I grew up in the tri-state area in the early 70s during the Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman era, right? When on ABC Wide World of Sports they would show like these boxing matches and stuff, and I would take it outside to the street and get my butt kicked. Right. I got tired of losing. And then it came a point where like my mom and dad was in the house arguing because they were young right? And when I think about it now, I have no idea. I had no idea back then how young my parents were.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, with my mom, was 26 years old with a 7-year-old, right? So I'm looking at a 26-year-old woman like she is 50, but she's 26. She a baby,
Right. Yeah.
but I'm 7.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So to you, she's like the epitome of adulthood. Like,
yeah, but she is 26-year-old woman,
right.
right? And this is hard times. This is the Nixon era. What I'm talking about, like this is Nixon era. You know what I'm saying? This is vets coming home from Vietnam with bad drug habits and crime is through the roof. This is where gas prices were ridiculous. Sarge, I know you may not remember this because I think I might be older than you by a few years, right? But this is when you used to go to the gas pump and the guy used to come out and ask you if you wanted leaded or unleaded.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So you may not remember that because I might be a few years older than you, man. But what I'm getting at though, my point is never mind. I always hijack the show. I ain't gonna get into that. But I guess ultimately what I'm getting at is never mind.
Are you guys? Oh man, okay.
Yeah, because I'm trying not to go down this long road of storytelling because Miss Mocha always been like, you always hijack the show, be telling stories.
No, that's the way I like it, man. Yeah, I mean, for us, martial arts is the way we got in. It was Bruce Lee in Jamaica, Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee. Everyone wants to be Bruce Lee, and so we started taking karate classes in Jamaica, and then
in Jamaica,
a YMCA in Jamaica, man. We went started taking karate classes. My it's not really my half brother. There are 5 of us, but 4 of us, are direct blood, and then he was the son of my dad's second lady. He married my mom, but he didn't marry her. But her son from a previous relationship, so he just got locked into it. So he actually was the one his career was martial arts, and so I was jack of all trades, and then my sister just happened to come over to rehab her knee for dancing, and we saw her skills. We're like, oh my goodness, she's just a natural fighter.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, and we thought she was a little crybaby, little ballerina girl, and next thing you know, she just had it. And then when she put it in the ring, they call it the female Mayweather, actually. So if you ever Google, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Yeah, if you Google her, you're like, okay, man, she's won world championships. What's his name? She was the oldest boxing champion ever about 3 years ago when she won the last title. Then she retired. But Hopkins then fought, and he was 1 year older than her, so he's the oldest champion male, and she's the oldest champion ever female.
Right.
So but like I said, against Gleason guys in the gym, also they didn't want her there. So it was it's a man cave, right. And they didn't want her there. So the guys who sparred her didn't want her there anyway, so they didn't take easy on her. And she had 3 older brothers, and we didn't take it easy on her in anything, any game, spades, big whist, dominoes. Right. She would try just because we wouldn't let her win a game, or so I don't even want to let her play because she was too. So that competition against better players, better thing, step everything up. So yeah, we need to have competition. RJ in practice right now is probably rocking it against most of the guys he's going against. Yeah, man, let him try to defend Donovan. Let him try to defend Donovan all practice. Be like, damn, he's too fast. Oh man, he's shooting.
But that makes RJ better.
Makes him much better. Exactly.
Right. And now RJ can go to Donovan and say, yo, you keep getting me with that first step. How are you getting that first step on me every time? Show me how you do that. Right. And I'm telling you, man, that matters. It matters.
Yeah, man.
It matters.
Hey, King Angie, this is the thing that I was gonna mention. That thing that you just mentioned, and that's why I like having you here, bro, because we can build on like the knowledge base, like when you say stuff like what you just mentioned. Like RJ, like, yo, I'm tired of you whipping me, bro. What are you doing? And how can I add that to my game? But even better, how can I defend other wings in the league that get me with that same move? See how that's two-pronged?
Yep.
what it is it may not be a technique thing or an effort thing. It might be a weight training thing.
Yeah.
Right. It might be a diet thing. We always, RJ, we know you come out, we know, what I'm saying, you stop it in the first 2 or 3 quarters, but when you get tired, what I'm saying, we know you could just go one way and you just can't, you don't have no more gas in the tank or something.
Right.
It's always like when I boxed, I was like the patient guy. I knew that if I was fighting a 3-minute fight, what I'm saying, like 3 rounds, 1 minute apiece, I knew to pace myself to take advantage of all 180 seconds. If it was a 3-minute fight, this is when I was a novice, right? Then when I went to 3-minute rounds, you know how you take the step up, 3 1-minute rounds, 3 2-minute rounds, 3 3-minute rounds, right? By the time I got to 110 seconds, right? Or I'm sorry, about 180 seconds, right? I knew to pace myself. People would come out and try to knock your head off. And all you think, just stay behind the jab. Keep your footwork right. Keep your lead foot right. Stay balanced. Stay small. And not small, but that punch window, right? That punch window. Keep that punch window small. Make them move their feet to see a bigger target. And when they move, you make sure you punish them for. This is all the little stuff that I had to learn as a boxer. Right. But remember when I said I used to get my butt beat going outside in the early 70s, going outside and getting punched in the nose, coming in the house crying with a bloody nose? I didn't know all that stuff. But when I went to the police athletic league, y'all remember that? The police athletic league?
Yes. Yep.
So when I joined the police athletic league, they taught me how to do these little things. And it's the same thing that King Ant G is saying about RJ Barrett, with RJ Barrett learning the small things from Donovan Mitchell, a better wing player than himself, makes him a better player overall, and that vicariously spreads throughout the team. Now, when Cam gets ISO'd on Cam like, no, I don't need no help. I got him. He ain't never been able to blow by me. And then now RJ going by Cam, and now Cam is like, yo,
how you doing?
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'd never mistake DeAndre Jordan for all-time great basketball player. But we've seen the little stint he played with the Knicks, how much it helped Mitchell Robinson, right?
Right.
We see Mitchell Robinson make the most improvements we've ever seen him make just by playing with DeAndre Jordan
for that small stretch of time. For that small stretch. Yep.
We can never underestimate that. You don't want to surround your young guys with a bunch of scrubs just so they'll feel good about themselves.
Right.
Like, cause you always gonna feel good about yourself until you meet somebody that's better than you, and then the good feeling is gone.
Right.
So like, man, I'm not into protecting our young kids' feelings, man. I want them to be better basketball players, and that's sometimes you gotta get your butt kicked. That's why I was so happy. I know a lot of Knicks fans talk about, we shouldn't have made the playoffs. It wasn't worth it, man. Losing in that first round the way we did, that's gonna cause more growth than tanking or losing. Like, getting your Trae Young kicking our butts, I bet you RJ Barrett can't wait to get back to the playoffs.
Exactly.
That hunger, right? Like, sometimes you gotta lose to win. You gotta, what they say, you gotta take 2 steps back to get 3 steps. Like, you gotta, like, sometimes you gotta just load up, and sometimes them losses are what builds that hunger, that desire, that growth. You know, that makes these guys better basketball players, man. So bring some. Pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger. Yeah, but it's also the argument against the eras, because you build on each era. I mean, yes, Earl the Pearl was Magic before Magic was there. And then stuff when you look at, man, when Magic did a full court bounce pass with a spin on it.
Yes.
Who the heck thinks of that? But that next era, Kid and all those cats coming in, and they're like, I've seen that before. Let me try that. And so, yes, you learn from each other some stuff you never even thought about.
Right.
And so that, I mean, when I saw Magic do, I'm like, who does a bounce pass from backcourt and that spin straight to Worthy's path? Boom. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, that was one of the moves. I'm like, oh, man.
Right.
I could never forget that. When I saw that, I said, no more.
I saw that same play in real time. It was against the San Antonio Spurs, right? I think it was the San Antonio Spurs. So he jumps and the guy jumps in the air and Magic can't throw the pass over the top. So he leans and throws a bounce pass with reverse spin on it.
Yes.
And it hits I can't remember if it's Worthy or Rambus, one of them guys.
Right.
They catch it and dunk it.
In stride. Exactly.
In stride.
Oh.
And so you talk about I can't, the one I saw, I don't think it was a full, I think it was might have been like a 50-foot pass, but that's still a long way. That's more than half court.
Yep, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
goodness. So yeah, so definitely Mitchell's going Brunson especially also. I mean, if McBride doesn't stand next to Brunson every game and then follow him around after the game and be like, okay, how do I get that past that guy without having the quickest first step? How do you do that? I mean, I used to be mad. Actually, West 4th Street. I told him when Strickland came down, he's going up and you try to steal the ball, and he just stops a little bit and bumps you with his hip. And you're like,
right.
I that blew my mind when that happened to me. I'm like, oh man, he didn't have to do anything but simply just have the ball to his right a little bit and just leans towards me a little bit, and I try to reach around and I get bumped away. I'm like, he's not even that big. But yep, it was crazy. Those little subtle moves that you have no idea how to ball.
Look, and this is why vets are important too, because I was watching this video on YouTube. And there was this guy, he was breaking down a game of Carmelo Anthony's, and it was a big game he had. I forget against who. But he kept zooming in, right? And Melo was doing this small thing. The refs weren't catching it. But every time he took that first step, he grabbed hold of their shorts.
Oh,
right? Yeah. And nobody was picking up on it, right? And that gave him that little slight first step he needed to get his shot off. Right? Just clenching their shorts while he's stepping past them. They can't move. Where you going, right? So those small stuff, like sometimes you need some. That's why, like you, Uncle Freezy, Sarge, I always sit down and talk to the OGs. Always. Because you get that knowledge, that wisdom. I love talking to people that are older than me, right? And listening to stories and wisdom. Because if not, you're just going to be a young dummy. And I don't like being dumb. I like being informed. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, get everything.
CP3 is doing some stuff. That's just some old school moves he's doing. And he's not running past these young cats. He's just getting by them in a way that they just can't even figure out. I mean, sometimes you just leaning left a little bit and the guys just start to lean right, and then they catch him off. Your footwork is off a little bit, and he's like, oh, I'm walking
Joe
past.
Johnson did it for years. Nobody could understand how he was able to do what he did.
Yeah.
Smarts, man.
I know.
I'm telling you.
You can't just, come up with it, but it's so much easier when someone teaches it to you. And you don't have to be like, okay, I got to find a way. And instead of trying to drill down into your own creative, abilities and test it out in the real world, you go, that's how he does it. And he goes, yo, let's talk, man. After practice, you and me, let's go, right? Man, it's just so important to have talents around you.
Right.
Challenging people around you in every way.
Now does that
Mr. Vince, I saw you, man. Come on back. Hey, Mr. Vince was backstage, man. I didn't get a chance to click on the button, man. Come on. Man, go ahead, y'all.
But no, I was like, we talking about the players a lot and how, surrounding yourself with more talent helps you become a better player. I'm interested in what people's views of that look like when it comes to the coaching staff, right? Because a lot of Knicks fans displeasure with Tom Thibodeau is his offensive acumen. Do we think that surrounding Thibodeau, but with more talented coaches, will make him a better coach? Or is Thibodeau the type of guy who's like, you can't teach the old dog new tricks type of guy, where he knows what works for him and he's gonna go down with his shit? Like, I don't know what kind of guy Thibodeau is. I don't think he's as bad as an offensive coach as a lot of Knicks fans try to make it seem. But I do think we could use a innovative mind on our coaching staff. Just a guy that can introduce some innovative ideas, some different things for us to try. I think that can help us. I don't know if that guy's on the coaching staff though. I don't think he is. Maybe Johnny Bryant. I don't know. But I think that could help a little bit. Again, I don't think Tibbs is a terrible offensive coach. I think that's a narrative. But I do think that we can use some. I get jealous sometimes when I watch some of these other teams and I see some of the schemes they're running and the lineups they're throwing out there. And I'm like, dang, like I want to see the Knicks try some of this stuff, even if it doesn't work. But I just want to see us try some of these things. Like the Obi with Randall lineup. Like it's just certain stuff I just want to see. Like let's see what this looks like. So if that's something I'm interested in, because if we get Donovan Mitchell, we're gonna have to get creative with our lineups, especially with defense. We're gonna have to be creative. We're gonna have to learn how to counter the counter, because that's what the playoffs are about. When that other coach counters your game plan, you got to counter the counter. That's all the playoffs really are. Is a chess match, you know. And if you make the wrong move, the series could be over. So I'm interested in what people think about adding, you know, what an innovative coach on the staff could do for our, you know.
But actually argued before the point that our players did not execute Tibbs' game plan. We didn't have the skill set to execute the game plan. If we did, like you said, we would be so much better, because what he put out there was winnable basketball offensive moves, but we didn't have the players who could execute it, or who just somehow weren't mature enough or ready to execute it. So that's a factor as well. So I think that's a factor, is that we underestimate Tibbs' offensive coaching ability. We may overestimate his stubbornness, even though it may be right on point with that.
Right.
And maybe he's not listed as assistant coaches, but I think part of it is guys were not just executing the play that he put out there. We're just executing those pick and rolls. We're just failing, and it was just the players, not the coach. In those cases.
Right. I would say, to y'all point, man, just to jump in real quick. I don't think it's all Tibbs. Right, because when I do the numbers dive, when I dive into the numbers, bro, all you can do is give your players the opportunity to showcase their God-given talent. And Tibbs did that. Tibbs does that. He gives these players the ability to defensively, you just wish Tibbs something would just click, like, hey man, can you zone up for a little while so that these players can take a break? Tibbs, you up by 13. Why do you have to run your same defense over and over and over again, bro? Zone up for a little bit, bro. Just I know you don't want to give up the three. I know that. Right? But just can you give RJ a blow? Not on the bench, but during the game.
Right.
Just you know what I'm saying? So it's one of them things that is frustrating to me. But King Ant G, I got something for you, bro. But I have to put it on. I have to put it on the Patreon. Do you remember you asked me about the Jalen Brunson question? When are we gonna give him props?
Right,
bro. I'm breaking down our offensive plays as we speak. Matter of fact, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll show you a little preview of it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, should I? No, I ain't gonna do it. You know what?
About it. But I was looking at the chat though. You know who, which is really funny? Imagine the name Pistol Pete Maravich being a great passer, because all I think of Pistol Pete was a shooter.
Right.
I never thought about his game was so on point, and so I just throw it out there. And I always underestimated Calvin Murphy also. They're throwing Tiny Archibald.
Calvin Murphy, you remember him?
Oh man, but I underestimated him. I didn't give him the credit like Tiny Archibald was getting credit. I love Tiny Archibald.
Yeah.
Oh man, these are some names I was like. And Downtown Freddie Brown. Downtown.
I love Downtown. You know, one of my favorite non-Knicks point guards is JoJo White.
Oh yes. Oh man. Yep.
Yeah, JoJo White. That was one of my favorite. But just real quick, man, just to make you laugh. JoJo White is hey King Ant G, you play 2K, right?
Yes, sir. I haven't played in a couple years, but that was my game.
Hey, that stance that you see the 2K player with at the top of the key, That's the JoJo White model.
Bro.
You know that thing they call 2K when you take your thumbs off the controller and the player just go between his legs and do, you know what I'm saying? But that 2K that he do, that's JoJo White.
Wow.
That is JoJo White, brother. Hey y'all, hey guys, I gotta use the restroom, man. I've been trying to drink water, bro.
I know.
Hey, did y'all know that water sing out to the restroom? Yo, I'll be right back, y'all. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I'm seeing Alex English. You know Alex English?
Yeah, I heard of him before my time, but
he was. Well, I keep forgetting sometimes how young you guys are. That would talk so funny.
Yeah. Like I became a basketball fan during what I call the era of the ISO stars.
Oh.
Like the early 2000s, the Kobe, the T-Max, the Vince Carters. Like,
yep.
I became a basketball fan in that era where like the game was ISO because they were always trying to emulate Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
Allen Iverson, like all these dudes. That's why I was such a big Melo fan, because when I became a fan of basketball, that mid-range, ISO, triple threat, jab step, footwork was what we thought was, what made a basketball player a him. So,
right.
That's the era I started watching basketball. And how I became a Knicks fan, man, I couldn't even tell you. Like, I don't know why I decided to torture myself with being a Knicks fan, but I did, man. Something about that orange and blue.
Oh man, I think my mom, because Clyde Frazier was a man in New York, and he drove around New York in his Rolls, and he wore his big fur coats and the hat. I think my mom just loved him, because he was basically from their point of view as a player, they're like, oh,
right,
so good. So my mom loved Clyde Frazier, probably not for basketball reasons, and that's the reason. Oh, that's like cat from the Knicks, and that's how I became a Knicks fan, because I was, mama's boy. She loved the Yankees. God, she loved Chris Chambliss, man, and back in the 70s, man. And I'm like, oh, so I became a Yankee fan and a Knicks fan. But Yankees, I don't know why I didn't become a Mets, because my first game was at Shea Stadium, I told before. And I'm like, man, it blew my mind when I went to Shea Stadium. I'm like, wow, look at this park. And somehow my mom was like, no, Chris Chambliss, man, you gotta look at these Yankees. And fortunately, I became a Yankee fan, because I was the year before we won our first World Series, and I was like, yes. Otherwise, I'd have been waiting like 10 years before the Mets won one. And then I'd now again.
All the time, man. I tell people all the time. I grew up a UConn basketball and a Yankee fan. I feel like I became a Knicks fan because I needed an underdog to root for.
Oh, that's wild.
I was winning too much. I grew up with Ben Gordon, Emeka Okafor, Jim Calhoun, Karan. Like, those UConn teams. Let's not talk about the women. Diana Taurasi.
Exactly.
Like Sue Bird. I grew up watching winners.
Sales.
I grew up watching winners. So I feel like I became a Knicks fan because I needed an underdog to root for. Yeah, I was tired of winning, I think. So and here I am.
Wow.
20 years later. Still losing.
That's amazing. I love that. I just can't imagine a Knicks fan in the 2000s, first time. Wow, that would have been tough.
I mean, women's basketball was a major sport in Connecticut before it was anywhere else.
Yep. I know.
The women's basketball players were the superstars.
Yep. By the way, Nick Frazier called Reggie Miller Cheryl, right?
Yeah.
They're attacking us, but he burned us every time. Spike Lee was there. I mean, I'll never forget Spike and him. Just that time he hit those 3 straight back-to-back threes, and he went to Spike, choke. And, oh, man, that was
after. He said, I'll never forget that. As long as I live, bro. John Starks got fouled, and Reggie Miller walked straight over to him and looked him in his eyes. He's like, you getting ready to choke. Oh. And Starks looked at the ground and started looking like this. And he went to Spike. He was like, yo, Spike, your man is choking. And John Starks missed those 2 free throws.
I know.
And I was like, oh, God, dog it. Yeah, man.
And Cheryl Miller. we thought that hurt him, but he was probably. I'm proud of my sister. He didn't care. He was just like, the more we antagonized him, the better he did. And Spike, sometimes we actually, when you ever see me say to Spike, shut up and sit down, Spike. Don't get him mad. I was like, don't get Reggie.
Yeah.
I can't Spike no more, man. Spike sold out.
Because he went to Brooklyn Stadium.
No, like he a Stephen A. Smith funky.
Because that person he had on. As I saw Spike with that purse, I was like, yo, Spike done sold all the way out, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Spike ain't Mookie no more. He not Mookie no more, bro.
And because he used to live down the block. I used to live 3 blocks from him, man, in Fort Greene. And he just walked down the block to the studio. So yeah, he probably went back to Brooklyn Stadium and be like, you know what, this is my neighborhood. And I'm like, no, you can't trip those guys. Don't go to their game. Come on, Spike.
I feel like Spike lost touch, man.
Spike.
He got to a certain point with his money, and I think he lost a little bit of touch.
But he also felt disrespected by Dolan when he got blocked from the elevator, even though the news comes out it's more Spike, because he's like, but at the same time, season ticket holder since they calculate how much a season ticket cost. So 30s of season tickets. I don't know if I would probably have given him the one exception, be like, okay, Spike, take the elevator. You know, I don't know.
I didn't mind that Spike had an issue with James Dolan. My issue was as a Knicks fan. You know how we're treated in the media.
Right.
The media run to me, which is nasty. It was disgusting. Mm-hmm. And as a Knicks fan, he should have known better, in my opinion. And I believe he did that because he knew what the media would do with it. And that's to me when I felt like he sold out. And ever since then, him and Stephen A. been butt buddies. They've been joined at the hip. And, you know, and Stephen A. is the fakest Knicks fan I've ever seen in my life.
True.
He couldn't tell you about what's going on day to day with the Knicks.
Nah.
He just couldn't. So, but he's our spokesperson. So that's what I don't understand. It's crazy to me. So, Spike.
No, he made himself that for us. We never anointed him that
because he had
most people didn't like him in that sense in the first place, but he made himself that.
Tracy Morgan is more of a voice than Stephen A. Smith is. I'd rather Tracy Morgan speak for us.
Yeah,
and Tracy Morgan say some of the dumbest stuff, bro.
Nah,
like Tracy Morgan.
But at least he's a comedian.
Yeah, but at least you know Tracy Morgan is real,
right?
With it,
right.
Even though he says some stuff make you cringe sometimes, at least it's coming from his heart, though. He not just saying it just for clicks. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the thing that frustrates me, man.
Real quick, with exception of Isaiah, were the bad boys really talented as a team, or they were just hardcore, rough, grinding it out?
Oh, they had some talent, I think.
I can't. Man. Besides Isaiah, I can't really think of a gifted bad boy.
Like I said, I always
you didn't like Joe Dumars?
I don't know what about him.
Joe Dumars is a Hall of Famer, though.
I know that's so tough for me to actually give him props, though. I mean, because it was overshadowed by so many other players in the league at the time. You know, of course, it was a Magic Bird to Jordan era. And so the bad boys was in that little pocket that those guys showed. You know, they shone so brightly that it was.
Right.
I hated the bad boys. So no matter what, no matter how good they were, I probably would find flaw in their game. So that's probably why. Yeah, Joe Dumars was solid.
Yeah. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman's a Hall of Famer.
I know.
Bill Lambert.
Yeah. No, Lambert wasn't that talented, man. He's just mean.
He had a skill.
He did have a skill, yeah.
Yeah. Bill Lambert screen.
Yeah,
Lambert mid-range shots.
That's the skill that I'm referring to. Yeah.
Friends, and you couldn't come inside in those days. Those guys, him and Mahone, you could not come inside. And I'm trying to think about the reason why I asked that question, because I'm trying to think about the Knicks, where we don't have superstars all the way across, but we have a team that's so strong and solid that if we play a certain style of game, we can win in this NBA, into this NBA. We don't need the long range 3-point shooters, the Clay and this Steph, Steph and those guys. So we don't have them right now. I'm just trying to find ways to win.
You know what, too, Sarge? A lot of the times I feel like because we as Knicks fans are always kind of chasing what's next or chasing what is, we kind of are the last to grasp on to what's happening next. And I think that era of you needing three guys is over. I don't think you need three superstars.
The big three era is over, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think you need one and another dude, a number two.
Right.
And then you just need a bunch of dudes that fit. It's all about fit. It's all about how guys play together. Because if you look at Milwaukee, Chris Middleton is nothing close to a superstar.
No.
But Giannis is the one, and the rest of the guys just fit. They just fit. And I think that's what you need. Even Golden State last year, people call Clay a superstar, but he wasn't a superstar in the playoffs last year.
No,
it was one guy and a bunch of other dudes that fit. So
well, Wiggins did play well though.
Wiggins played really well.
Yeah.
I'm still scared of a guy like Wiggins though, because I'm afraid he's the type of guy you take out of that system and he turns back into a pumpkin. So because that system is that's a real thing. It was in San Antonio for a little while where anybody who went into that system succeeded. I remember Steven Jackson was on his way out the league. He went to San Antonio, even he succeeded in that system. So sometimes you have a culture like Miami, Golden State, San Antonio, you could throw anybody in that mix and they're gonna, benefit. So I'm kind of afraid of a guy like Andrew Wiggins. For his benefit, I think he should stay there.
Okay.
Just stay there, stay in that system, stay with Steph and win.
Right.
That'd be better for his legacy.
I think both sides agree to that too.
Yeah.
Because what happens is as Draymond, Clay get older, you can start to insert more Jordan Poole, Moses Moody, Kuminga, Wiggins together.
It's just ridiculous.
And so, yeah, I know. And so what you can do in that scenario, right? What you could do in that scenario is Andrew Wiggins becomes the Andre Iguodala of that group. And I know that doesn't sound impressive, but they won rings with Iguodala.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Kuminga will never be Draymond, but he'll add his own sauce to Draymond. You know what I'm saying?
You want to know how good those, because when we talk about Golden State, we don't really mention those guys often, the Wisemans, the Kumingas, the Moody's. Those guys are so good that if you put those same prospects on the Knicks, they're all better than Obi and Emmanuel quickly, in my opinion. Like that's how good those guys are. Like Golden State, it has like an embarrassment of riches, man. It's an embarrassment of riches. Like they're set up well for the next,
I know,
5-6 years easily.
Yeah.
Because Steph is the type of guy that can play up there in his age. He doesn't base his game is not based off athleticism. He's always going to be able to shoot.
Right.
He's always going to be able to shoot. So
right.
Worst case scenario, those guys get old and they just play supporting roles to the younger dudes, and they can still shoot the rock. You're never gonna forget how to do that. So
right.
I like Golden State young guys, man. I like Wiseman.
Hey, King Angie, I'm not against your point, but I'm doing working on the Jalen Brunson video, bro. I think with Jalen, the more I break down Kemba Walker pick and roll and efficiency and add Jalen Brunson, because I'm running the same play by both players, right? The one man, the single high screen up top pick and roll and the Spanish pick and roll. And the more I look at Kemba versus Jalen Brunson, bro, the more I get excited about this video, man. I was just going to try to get the video out sometime this week. But, and y'all know me, like when y'all be talking, I'm listening, but I don't want to cut in. And so while I'm here, I'm just like, let me, you know what I'm saying, edit this stuff right here. Bro, this Jalen Brunson thing is going to be real, bro. Sarge, this Jalen Brunson thing, boss man. Look, I'm not into overhyping stuff. I would rather say neutral.
Right.
But bro, I just did a Kemba Walker in a pick and roll against I think it was like Davis Bertans and somebody. It was like against the worst team with the worst possible players, and Kemba Walker couldn't turn the corner against Davis Bertans, right?
Right.
And then I got one with DeJounte Murray, and this was accidental. DeJounte Murray and whoever number 17 is from the Spurs, right? And against Jalen Brunson up top. And just off jab step alone, DeJounte Murray goes one way and has to put his hand on the ground to come back to Jalen Brunson, who's already around the screen attacking the basket.
Wow.
And finishing at a 60% clip.
And then on the second play, like he got a layup, right? The second play, the weak side defender evacuated the corner, and Jalen Brunson still shot it, right? And he made it. But the weak side defender evacuated the corner to double team to stop Brunson at the rim. And Brunson had a 3-point shooter in the corner, wide open.
Who's the last guy his size to be that efficient?
Bruh,
that's so impressive to me, man. He's not the fastest, he's not the quickest, he doesn't jump the highest, but he's 6'1", but he's so efficient.
Right.
Like it shouldn't be. Like, that's how ridiculous it is. Like, if you show me all his metrics, all of his combine results, like, I would think he was an efficient player. Man, the kid is efficient. He takes shots and he makes shots. We have a lot of shot takers. We don't have a lot of shot makers. Jalen Brunson is a shot maker. The shot maker. Man, so I don't know how he does it. I don't understand how he does it, but it's just like he masters all the small things. Like, he reads his defender. Like, he reads the defender. He's watching the defender's feet. He's watching which way his hips are leaning. Like, he's mastered the art of beating his man. He's mastered the art of finishing at the rim. And that points to IQ, like a high basketball IQ. And that's what has me excited the most. I think he really got a chance to display his point guard abilities, like his ability to pass the ball and set guys up. And when you look at the way he has to get his points, that shows me that there's some potential there for him to be a floor general. Not just a guy that scores points, but a floor general, because his IQ is there. And that's what I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how these guys respond to him. Confidence he instills in them, because that's a big thing about basketball. Is confidence. It's confidence. It's mindset. And if you have that one dog on your team that makes you believe, like, that you're that guy, that can do wonders, man. For RJ, for Julius, for everybody.
My goodness. Yep.
Everybody.
Absolutely,
bro. It's insane. I'm sorry. I want to get back to your Golden State point, man. I'm sorry about jumping around, right? But I just want to get back to the Golden State point that you mentioned, and how that team was loaded, bro. Some teams, it's just not fair how they go about doing things, and that's why I asked the question in the beginning. Hey, Mr. Vince, man, I saw you backstage. I didn't get a chance to click on that. Man, what's good? How you doing? Yeah, Dre, I got you. I got the link. I'm gonna put the link in right now.
You know what's crazy, Freeze?
But oh, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
You know what you're talking about? Golden State and how some franchises just things work differently for them. I feel like if Miami or Golden State had the assets we have right now, the deal would have been done already. I think it would have been done. I feel like, but sometimes because I think we paid, and you said it a week ago, and I didn't really agree with you, but I kind of sat down and thought about it a little bit more. And man, I think we are paying a New York tax. Like, we're paying that tax for being a Knicks, because I don't get it. I don't get it. I think it's because it's the Knicks. We can't have anything good easy. We don't get nothing easy.
Right. What's up, fellas?
Good evening, fellas.
How y'all, man?
I'm straight. I'm straight.
What's popping, guys?
What's good?
Chilling. What y'all talking about?
Yeah, man.
A little bit.
Hey,
CWC, baby. Let's get it.
in the building.
Hey,
What's good,
can I
Bob?
say something for a minute?
Okay.
Hey, all right. Check this out. To make Uncle Freezy happy and everybody agree with him with Mitchell, they want Mitchell, right? All right. And the young guys, the young generation, they want OB and Grimes to stay, right? How about we do this so we all could be happy? How about we give the Jazz 11 draft picks and 3 unprotected to the Jazz?
Say it one more time.
And they don't get our young guys. They only get the money to match. They only get Fournier and Rose for the money to match. That's it.
Right.
It sounds like you're talking on the walkie-talkie.
Yeah, I'm on the walk. It's loud.
Oh yeah.
I'll turn it down.
Okay, so
Okay.
you said Fournier and Rose. How many draft picks? How many first round?
Give them 11.
11.
Or however you mean however many it take.
Yeah.
However many it take. Okay.
Hmm.
All right.
To make everybody happy.
I understand what you're saying. Just give
Yeah.
them however many it take to get the trade done, but keep all the young kids.
Right.
I mean, it's possible, sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I don't know how possible it is, but you know.
If Adrian take it, I wouldn't be totally opposed to that. Believe it or not, guys. Again,
Ainge ain't about that, bro. He wants something more. He wants a tangible player right now.
Yeah.
Probably more than one,
but if he's
which is holding up the trade. And he wants assets too in the future.
But like the reports that keep coming out is saying that the young guy he wants the most is Grimes. So I don't know.
They can have Grimes, but it's
right.
that he wants more than one. He wants
Right.
Obi or something, and that's probably holding it up.
I think Knicks fans,
But
and myself included, have kind of like come to the conclusion that it's Obi thing, and there were none reports have said he's wanted Obi. It says he wants Grimes, and I can't believe that Grimes is the holdup. Like I
feel like Grimes is probably at the forefront of what we're offering.
I don't think any player is the holdup. I think Leon doesn't want to give up them unprotected first round picks, and if
he probably wants 4 of them, just like he got out of.
Yeah,
he wants 23, 25, 27, 29.
Right.
And we're probably not budging on the 29.
It comes down to it. And they want Grimes in those 4 picks, and maybe like a McBride, Putty trigger.
I can't picture them being that high on McBride.
I mean, I'm not high on McBride. That's why I mentioned them. But
Danny Ainge want Obi, Grimes, and Quickly, and like 7 draft picks.
Yeah, you don't want Obi and Quickly because then he has
Yes, he do.
But then he has to pay Obi and Quickly.
That's why I say give them all many picks they want. Just give them like 9 or 10, and 3 unprotected from the Knicks.
10 picks would be unprecedented. 10 picks is.
But we'll still keep our young guys. Though we'll still keep our young guys.
10 picks is like the next decade, not more than that, really, because
we can't trade picks every year either. Yeah. So that's not even possible to trade 10.
Yeah, because you have 3 picks aren't ours, and then we have 8 remaining. So the highest number of picks we can trade is 8, because if you split those or 7 to 8 is the highest number we could trade.
7 or 8.
Yeah, I believe it's 7 to 8 is the highest number we could trade, because we have 3 that.
But if we get those 7 or 8, right, they still gonna want Quickly, Grimes, and Obi.
Oh yeah, so if we're giving up 8 picks, Quickly, Grimes, and Obi, that's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Like we can go get somebody for all of that, man.
Yeah, you talking about Kevin Durant level,
Kevin Durant,
right?
right level.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
That's what the holdup is about, man. That's the holdup. Then they ain't trying to be greedy, man.
You can't help it, especially if you think you can get it.
Yeah. I think that's what he's banking on. Dolan just stepping in before training camp and getting, But I don't know. I mean, part of me just feels like Danny Ainge doesn't really intend to trade him because, like, it doesn't seem like he wants to trade him for real. Because if you asking for that when Kevin Durant is on the market, like that just sounds like you're bluffing and like you're trying to gauge his value. Because all of that, and I'm on the bring Donovan Mitchell at most costs train. Like there's not too many deals I say no to, but that one is a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's probably too much. I think so. But I understand where you're going with it. It's not the amount that you're looking to give up. It's the strategy that you take.
The mindset. Yeah.
Like, am I just willing? Do I keep the young guys or do I keep the draft picks? You know what I'm saying? Like with me, I'm all about thinking like it doesn't matter how many draft picks you get. It's about who is doing the selecting. Like if I had all those, for instance, if I had all those draft picks and Sam Presti was here doing the picking,
right?
I'm like, bingo! I'm keeping my picks. Get these young players out of here. Because I think Sam Presti could find me a Josh Giddey,
right?
You know what I'm saying, or a Chet Holmgren, you know what I'm saying, or a Kevin Durant, a Russell Westbrook, a James Harden, a Serge Ibaka, a Reggie Jackson, a Nick Collinson.
Yo, his resume is crazy.
And check this out. Y'all never thought about this either. Now, say we get Donovan Mitchell, right? And we keep Randall. And both of them have attitude problems. How y'all think that's going to work out?
I haven't seen Donovan Mitchell with an attitude problem though.
With Gobert?
They never displayed it on the court. That's all hearsay.
Yes, they did. They did.
I don't remember this.
That's when Mitchell didn't give him the ball. He only gave Gobert the ball 2 times in one game.
Bro, my man led the NBA in dunks because of Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has this dude leading the NBA in dunks, big dog. Now I understand what you're saying because there is something to the
you know with that COVID thing, right? COVID thing?
Yeah. I'm not disputing that part. What I'm saying is that in terms of attitude, though, I think Donovan Mitchell is super professional.
Yeah.
Right. Super professional.
Julius before last season didn't have a history of being an issue.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to shoot Julius some slack. Like, let's see what he does this year. Because before, like last year was the anomaly in his behavior.
Yeah.
We don't know a lot. Like we don't know what could have been going on in his personal life. We don't know. So I'm gonna shoot that human being some slack because that was out of character for him last year. So I don't see those guys as an issue together.
Right.
Like attitude wise, I don't agree. But that's
I honestly think last year was frustrating for all parties involved, and I just think that Julius Randle just did maybe a poorer job handling everything in a public space. You know what I'm saying? And like in the public realm, I think Julius probably handled it poorly. Right? But at the same time, bro, man, come on, man. Donovan Mitchell is Donovan Mitchell, baby. Donovan Mitchell is Donovan Mitchell, man. I mean, bro. Hey, man, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Sarge, everything all right?
I was
yeah,
I'm good.
Okay.
You went to sleep.
No. I was. I left the man cave when I came outside.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know how it is.
I'm with everybody around.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man. Donovan is Donovan. I mean, and again, I still think he has more upside. he hasn't reached a ceiling in my opinion. And with a Brunson next to him, I think his ceiling just went up a little bit higher because they
Right.
both raise each other's level. So
Right.
I cannot deny the opportunity for Knicks fans to just see what we can do with with maybe Mitchell and Brunson together.
Yeah,
Man, I cannot imagine. So we have to take a
Right.
look at it.
man,
I just can't
I
avoid
want
taking a look
Mitchell
at
on this
that.
team, man.
Mm-hmm.
Cause think about who's in Atlanta, right? They got Murray and Trae Young. So I want
Right.
Mitchell on this team.
Bro,
Exactly.
CWC, you just read my mind. I'm working on a Brunson thing, and I got Jalen Brunson ISO'd against DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray doing full court pressure against Jalen Brunson, and Jalen Brunson waved off a screen and created about 4 foot of operating space on DeJounte Murray. I swear to God,
Wow.
I got it right here.
Nice.
CWC, you want to bet me something on it? I
You know
got it.
what?
I swear to God, I got it right here.
Freeze, you know what I'm actually picturing? I'm picturing Jalen Brunson calling a switch to bring Trey over, then taking him.
Can y'all see that? Can y'all see that on the
Not
screen?
really.
That's what I'm
Yes,
working
we
on
can.
right now.
Yep.
Y'all see the
Yeah,
arrows?
to zoom in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So that's what I'm working on. That's just a little preview, whatever.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see the vision.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I'm breaking down Jalen Brunson against. So basically I'm breaking down Kemba Walker against poor defenders and not being able to do anything, and Jalen Brunson against elite or very good defenders and getting whatever he want to get.
Wow. Nice.
And how that's going to impact the Knicks.
Wow.
Hey, what's up, Chris? What's
That's
good?
gonna be on Patreon, right?
Yeah, I got to put that on Patreon. That's what I'm doing the Patreon stuff for.
Oh yeah.
I'm just
Excellent.
seeing like a
Excellent.
guard wing rotation
I'm
between
there.
RJ, Donovan, and Jalen Brunson. There's literally no place for Trey to hide. On
Nowhere.
Defense. He can't hide.
And you know who else is going to struggle with that?
Who?
Kyrie Irving
Oh God.
will struggle. Most guards
He's like, oh God.
most guards on most nights are gonna struggle against that rotation, that guard rotation of R.J. Barrett, Jalen Brunson, and Donovan Mitchell.
Usually a team has a guy that they can like rest their superstar guard on, but there's no rest on this team.
Right.
There's no breaks.
Right. You know who else is gonna struggle with that stuff like that?
Wow. That's nice.
Bradley Beal.
Oh yeah.
Bradley Beal having to defend that every night, or when he plays us.
Yeah.
And the thing that RJ needs to get to, that Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell are, those two guys are consistent. They're
Right.
going to give you the same production almost every single night.
Every single night. Right.
Yep.
There's no dramatic fall off either.
Right.
And Jalen Brunson is not going to come in here and put up 6 points in a night on like 3 for 12 shooting. He's just not. He's wired to be way more consistent and efficient than that. On an off night, Jalen Brunson is going to give you 14. And he's probably not taking a whole bunch of shots because he's giving it to other players to finish.
Right. Right.
So when his number needs to be called, he's ready. That's the type of player he is.
Right. Man, bro, y'all listen, man. This Jalen Brunson kid is the real deal, y'all. This Jalen Brunson kid is the real deal.
Morning, fellas. Good morning.
Hey, Jay, how you doing, man?
Good.
Good morning.
Hey, Freezy, quick question. Is it possible to pull up the stats, the games Jalen Brunson started? How many times he went to the free throw line? I have a quick thought.
Wow.
You want me to do that?
If you can. If you can.
They know you always on that computer.
Yeah, because I was in the middle. I was in the middle of doing something else.
I say that to say this because he has that type of game and the type of point guard body.
Right.
He's always putting guys under pressure. It's not like he's finishing away from contact. He's finishing through contact.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Good point.
So that
Yes,
when you're
sir.
going up against the Trey Youngs of the world, those guys, he could put them in foul trouble too. You know?
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Exactly what I was thinking about it. Those both Donovan's body too wise. They're built in a way that guys gotta follow them. And they drive. So
Right.
you're right. And that means Trey is gonna have trouble.
Right.
So now imagine like this: if the Knicks play their top 10 type of defense that they're capable of, and you got these two horses going for you, always going to the rack, putting pressure on the other team,
Right.
that just makes you that much harder to defend because a point I brought up over the summer is the Knicks have such a good defense, but their offense lacks so much. So it's like they're always
Right.
behind, catching up to like hold the lead, right? Now, if you got these guys that can score so easily and put that pressure with your defense, it changes the whole dynamic of your team like day one. Because now your
Right.
10-point lead seems like 15, 17 points for the type of defense you play.
Right.
Oh,
Plus also
I get it.
there's a approach that they'll also wear down Trey on defense, which will affect his offensive game. However, the counter to that could be Trey may let Brunson or Mitchell score at will 2 points for his three. They'd be like, okay, go ahead, take your 2-pointer. I'll come back, I'm gonna hit a three. That's a possibility as well. But he wouldn't wear himself out. He's gonna give up. I can't stop them.
How are you gonna get that three though? Are you talking about? Are you talking about?
Trey's gonna come back, hit a 3-point from midcourt. He's gonna hit a logo shot, hit his three, come back down, let Russell get his two, run back up the court. A logo. I'm just saying the possibility.
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, he will
That's
get worn.
interesting.
He will get worn. He will get worn down by Brunson or Mitchell. They will wear him down like Audrey got worn down by the elite, threes he was trying to defend. So if he's going to try to stop those guys on defense. They're gonna wear him out, and
Right.
he's gonna come back up court and be like, "Man, I'm getting brutalized down there in the paint every time by these guys, or even midcourt, or mid-range shots. They're gonna bump him a couple times." And kind of like what happened with Jordan his first few years. He wasn't strong enough to
Right.
take the beating, so he's gonna have to spend a couple of years in the weight room to get up the point. Otherwise, he needs to be like, go ahead, take your 2-point shot. I'm good with that. When we come back, we're taking threes.
Okay. Okay. I think that the possibilities of what this kid can do. I think it's now. Listen, I'm not saying. All I'm saying is Brunson is a better player than what we may have been alluding to. But at the same time, I'm not ready to call him Magic Johnson. At the same time, though, there are things that I'm putting together right now, bro. This kid is gonna do some stuff for this team that we hadn't seen a point guard do in so long that we're just gonna be amazed by it.
If we get him the
Right.
requisite spacing, because even though with Tibbs and his faults where he loves to slow down the game, this guy can get a bucket when it's slowed down, no matter who's there. So and he lives for those pressure moments. So I'm not worried with
Right.
the ball in his hands last 5 minutes of the game making decisions for us, because he's ultimately going to make
Okay.
the right decision more often than not.
Right.
One thing I
Right.
noticed about Brunson is that when he gets to the rack, he's really good at making two guys commit to him, not just one.
Right.
He always makes two guys commit to him, where either he hits guys with a pump fake, and he steps through, the other defender has to come up. Now, at that moment, if you look at a lot of his highlights, his passing highlights, when that second guy commits, Brunson is such a he's a master at hitting the corner for the corner threes. Like, pay attention to like those little nuances when he gets to the paint. Not always just the scoring. He has such good visions for those corner threes. He was that was I think a staple for like the Dallas offense. That's how Finley Smith got all his threes off from the corners.
Right. Because Finney Smith is not an offensive creator.
Nope,
at
but
all.
those are wide open three because that second guy has to commit. Now you have the whole defense shifting.
Right. No doubt, bro.
And
I
like I
think
was
we're
saying, also when my bad freeze, when he drives to the basket, he's that strong. Where, like I said, like again, like the second guy committing, he bumps off the first guy because he's that strong as a point guard. When either if it's a pass or score, there's always going to be two guys committing to him in the paint. That just
right,
opens up so many opportunities for so many other guys, including himself, to get fouled. It's just
including himself.
he's such a high IQ, such a skilled player that it just goes unnoticed in a sense, I guess, because he's just playing behind Luka. But he's really, really, really good.
I think I agree with you a lot on that. I think I agree with a lot of the things that you said there, especially being great at creating space for himself and others.
And it has nothing to do with he's the fastest guy in the court or he's the most. He knows the footwork. He knows how to make guys go off balance.
Are you saying he's fundamentally sound?
Yeah, he really is, man. His footwork is really good.
The funny thing about guys when they're flashy, it's because they're chaining so many fundamentally sound things together, which is almost kind of ironic when you look at Brunson, because his footwork is impeccable. But when you chain all these things that are so fundamentally sound, it looks flashy to the eye.
Right.
Like in the playoffs when he hit Rudy Gobert with that little highlight move. He caught him ISO at the foul line. Dribble, crossover, pass Rudy, but pulled it back. Pump faked. Rudy went for it.
He waited.
Yeah.
And he put it up.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
So I was like, man, he knows who's guarding him. He knows how long the dude is. He knows how to get his. He's just so like he's really good, man. I'm actually very excited to
and
watch.
because of his physical limitations or supposed limitations, he has to think the game at a higher level. And always has thought it at a higher level than his opponent.
Right.
In high school or in college or in the
And check this out. If we get Donovan Mitchell with Bronson, right? What's the team always beat us in the West that we can't really beat? Denver Nuggets. So if we have Mitchell on our squad with Bronson, man, we could take him, man.
Right. But it's not just the Denver though, bro. It's because I understand where you're coming from. So you're getting that like the elite teams the Knicks always have problems with.
Yeah.
And nobody on this panel can deny that, bro. Like we can beat good teams, but the elite teams we always struggle with because we don't have elite level talent to compete with them on a nightly basis. So even if we compete with the Milwaukee one night, right? Say we can. Oh, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. Say if we compete with the Chicago Bulls one night, who's got Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic, and then young kids coming in off the bench, we compete with them and say lose by 2. The next night on a back-to-back, we play Milwaukee.
And they obliterate us.
And we lose by 20.
Either they obliterate us or we give them a good 2.5 quarters.
2.5 quarters, and then we run out of gas. And it's because we're not star-powered.
Man, it's the same mantra you've been saying all summer long. Those
stars bridge
can
you
do
between
whatever they want on the court, and we haven't had that in so long. Now you have the chance to possibly get 2 guys that can do whatever they want on the court.
Right.
Sheesh.
Bro, it's as simple as man, listen.
I think that's why I'm so frustrated this trade is not done yet, man, because that potential of having guys that do whatever they want, it's just the gravity those guys have as basketball players automatically makes everybody else better.
Can I respond to someone in the chat?
Like real quick, last thing real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
People forget, like, without Jason Kidd, like, Kenyon Martin wasn't really anything special, you know? Like, Kerry Kittles was just another shooter. But you put Jason Kidd on the team, yeah, I get it. He's an all-time great. But the gravity of that Jason Kidd makes Richard Jefferson better. makes even like Lucius Harris better, makes Kenyon Martin like unbelievable. He gets a $90 million contract from Denver. Like he gets guys paid.
Right.
And that's just off of one superstar player. Like it means a lot having those guys on your team.
Right.
Yeah. JJ,
Hey.
fam, we won 37 games with freaking Alec Burks as our starting point guard and Julius needing a sabbatical for half the season. Like we can temper it down. We're adding better talent, and our younger talent is also improving. It's no reason for us to assume we take a step back, barring a whole lot of injuries. Even with just Brunson, we're going to win more games.
If and the assumption, because I'm with you, the assumption is that we stay healthy.
Exactly.
Right. The assumption is that we stay healthy. That's the main thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing we want to focus on when we consider any type scenario like this, like the one we're talking about. Like, you know, what happens when we get Spider and Jalen Brunson in here together? When we get, and so I'm gonna say it here, and I know people think I'm crazy, but I'm doing breakdown videos right now as we speak. I'm telling you guys, when Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson get together, this is a 50+ win team, right? And you ain't gotta. What I'm gonna do is not bombard you with speeches and narratives. What I'm gonna do is break this thing down on tape, right? What I'm doing right now is breaking it down on tape, right? I have Jalen Brunson breaking down elite point guard defenders and creating space, and the defense having to scramble, take their two guard, take their shooting guard defender, and have him zone up so that Brunson doesn't go all the way to the basket. And I'm stopping at that point and asking you, what happens in the half court when Donovan Mitchell gets space to operate?
Someone gets dunked on.
I'm not asking. Look, I'm not giving you the answers to that. I'm letting you formulate your own opinion. But if you have a guard, and think about this, when teams run the pick and roll, and the Knicks ran it the 7th most amount of time last year, they were 28th in efficiency. We were 6th in time of possession. Y'all know all those numbers. I've been saying it since April. But what I'm saying to you is, CWC, who's the most elite point guard defender in the league? That's a starter. Starting point guard. That's the
Marcus
most.
Smart, if you want to consider him a point guard.
Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
What happens with Marcus Smart is defending Jalen Brunson, and Jalen Brunson creates space on Marcus Smart, and Jason Tatum has to leave. Or Jaylen Brown has to leave R.J. Barrett, or Jason Tatum has to leave Julius Randle, right, to collapse the paint to make sure that Jalen Brunson doesn't get a layup at the rim, because there is no rim protection, right? Because their big has to guard our big on the perimeter. In a foot race, Jaylen Brown beats our big and their big to the rim. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have to provide rim protection because their big is not fast enough to get back. And I know Robert Williams is quick. I know that. Mm-hmm. But he's quick against Kemba, right? Who couldn't turn the corner. Is he that quick against Jalen Brunson or Donovan Mitchell? No. Nah. And even if he is, bro, even if he is, you're leaving, and this is what I pray for. Even if he is, you're leaving an RJ Barrett or a Julius Randle wide open for a wide open shot. When's the last time you saw RJ Barrett take a wide open shot consistently?
The guy got
Julius was playing all world in his second year, and he shot 40% from 3 off catch and shoots.
Right, and that's with Elfrid Payton.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all telling me that Elfrid Payton is better than Jalen Brunson?
Once you have teams scrambling, there's less room for error for them. And then
one
and
mistake
then they'll
gives up a
overreact.
dunk or a three.
Yeah, and then they'll overreact on the closeouts, and then RJ is already gone off the closeout, attacking the closeout.
Now put it like this: you had Robert Williams waiting for Kemba to turn that corner. In his mind, he's like, I could time this. I'll get there. Now you have Robert Williams sprinting to a Jalen Brunson or Donovan Mitchell. At that point, if you overcommit, those guys are going to get an and one, and you'll be on the bench. So
And that's his own commit too.
It's different. Trust me, it's different.
Yeah, the thing is also Jalen Brunson adds an element of physicality. Even though he's 6'1", he is a stocky guard. You are not pushing him off of his spot if he wants to go somewhere. He's thrown his shoulder, his arms into defenders that are right in front of him and bowled them out of the way so he can get to the rim. He did that to what's his name? Devin Booker in the playoffs. Just straight up just shielded him off and just went right to the cup. Like, he's not a weak guard. Kemba was what? $180 at his on his heaviest?
Yeah.
It's a different element of physicality. He's gonna wear guards down that guard him, especially in one-on-ones. These little guards are not. They don't want to face Jalen Brunson.
And see, Jalen Brunson is not little. Jalen Brunson is short.
Yeah.
And Donovan Mitchell is not little. Donovan Mitchell may be short, but these guys are not little.
Right.
You have to think about it like this. The way these guys have to play defense against the Knicks now is different. They have like a sense of urgency now to help out on the drives. Now they gotta bust it out to the 3-point line for these wide open threes we're gonna shoot now.
And if they help on the drive, the lob is gonna be there.
Now that you have the defense chasing, you can have RJ one-on-one against a defender closing out on him. You know, same thing with Julius. It goes all around the whole team when you have a guy like this. Everybody experiencing success.
The lob is gonna be there for Mitchell, almost all game.
Yep.
Bro, and now knowing that if you're Mitch, do you play harder?
Exactly. Oh yeah.
If you're Mitchell Robinson, do you play harder? Knowing that the lob is there on any given play.
Mm-hmm. And so another advantage is, although Kemba wasn't really small, he never used his body to take advantage of his positioning. Kemba really was more of a deceptive player and pulling back and using some skill. Brunson actually does play some bully ball with his body against those weaker guards.
Think about this also. If Donovan Mitchell gave Rudy Gobert leading the league in dunks, and he gave him a boost in his points per game, imagine how valuable Mitch's contract is now at 4 years, $15 million per. If Donovan gives him the same bump he gave Rudy, if we're all high on Mitchell the way he is, we are, that's going to be a valuable contract now.
Yeah. Man,
Can't wait to see it for you.
Yeah, man. I think we got a lot of. I think we have a lot of the word I'm looking for is we have a lot of room to improve as a roster, but and what happens is with just adding Jalen Brunson, it gives these young kids the opportunity, the ones that are left, because some will go in a Donovan Mitchell trade. We don't know who, we don't know when we get Donovan, but what we'll do is assume that whoever remains, we'll keep some of the young kids. Right? Is that safe to assume that we'll keep some of the young kids?
Definitely.
Quickly and McBride, I think we're going to keep.
Because we have 9 of them. We're not giving all 9 of the young kids to Utah. Maybe 2, maybe 3. That means maybe 6, maybe 7 stay, or 7 or 8, however the numbers go, whatever. So that means they have room to grow. And I'm here to tell you that in that Spanish pick and roll where Obi gets to set the slip screen that he's good at and race to the basket, and Jalen Brunson turns the corner. See, Kemba couldn't turn the corner. That's why Obi could never get the lob. Kemba couldn't turn the corner. Jalen Brunson can turn the corner, not just off foot speed, but off craftiness. Like, you don't have to beat somebody to the spot in a foot race.
Just get the angle.
Yeah, you could get the angle and get them off balance, get them going in one direction. You go the other direction. That means they got to go twice the distance to catch up to where you're going.
Nice.
That's how you had to beat them to the spot. Y'all remember tag when you used to play tag? Remember, say the tagger used to find you like, oh snap, and you try to juke them. You get, you know what I'm saying? That's
and he's so crafty at leaving the defender, snaking the pick and roll, leaving the defender right on his backside the whole way. You can't get in front of him. He's just too solid.
Right.
He just holds these guards in jail behind him, and they're out of the play. Then the lob is open. The big has to come over to help. Either the corner defender has to come in and try to jab in and try to help, and then that just leads to all types of breakdowns.
Right, bro. I just think that I'm not going to say the sky is the limit for us. In terms of the Jalen Brunson edition, what I will say is all these things that we used to have a problem with before Jalen Brunson, I think we won't have these issues anymore.
It's not Burks running the pick and roll.
It's not Burks. Right, bro. It's bro. I'm so excited doing this video, man. I don't know if I'm gonna get some sleep tonight or not, bro. I'm watching. I just watched Atlanta try to bully Brunson with a bigger defender. They threw Gallinari on him. He cooked Gallinari, went around Gallinari, and finished over Clint Capella.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's what I like to. That's what I like to hear.
Can you say that one more time, please? Because something like that while we was in the playoffs, man, that was so lacking. Say that one more time, please.
Right.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, right. And bro, so Jay, these are the type of things I've been trying to work on, because what happens is a lot of times we get in these chats and these live streams, and we argue about BS. Like we argue about, man, KD ain't going to the Celtics. Man, who cares? What I want to talk about is the Knicks pick and roll percentage. They did it the 7th most amount of times in the NBA. We were the 28th most inefficient, right? We had the 6th most time of possession doing it, and we did it with a point guard that wasn't even a point guard. And we did it with a point guard that is washed up. And his backup is a point guard that is washed up. Now we put a young live body in that situation. We were calling the kids bust. These kids are trash. Right? That's what we've been saying. But we've been doing it. These kids have been bust and trash and ham sandwiches with point guards named Alfred Payton, Kemba Walker, Derrick Rose, Alec Burks. What happens when you upgrade? Listen, how much do the kids learn when you upgrade the teacher? That's the type of stuff I'm talking about, man. We can talk about Kevin Durant and Kyrie and Brooklyn alternate uniforms and stuff. Man, I don't care. Listen, I really don't care that Brooklyn wears acid wash as their alternate uniform. I could care less. But what I do care about is RJ Barrett's development going into year 4, knowing that we now have a pure point guard and potentially one of the most dynamic playmakers in the league. And we are complaining that he's 6'1" and not 6'7".
Another reason I think Brunson is going to be really ideal for RJ's development. He knows how to be off ball and let another guy cook. He knows how to function away from the ball.
Right.
So when RJ needs to assume playmaking duties on the occasion he does need to, because that's part of his development, that's what he's going to be able to do when he becomes the best version of himself, Jalen Brunson is not going to be a detriment to that. He knows how to move off ball. He knows how to set screens off ball. He knows how to create mismatches off the ball for guys like RJ. So I don't see I don't see any downside to Brunson being on this team at all. He
Nah.
could be 5'8" for all I care. Like his skill set is something that
Are
is
you
needed on the field.
effective? That's my
Yeah.
question. Are you effective at this? That's what that is my concern. Are you effective at certain things? Right? And what he is effective at are the things that we've been needing forever. Right?
Manipulation of the defense, period.
Yep. I know sometimes when I speak like that, I know I throw Jay off a little bit. Jay, man, I didn't mean to throw you off, bro.
Your mic.
Jay got mad at us and left.
Okay, now your mic is back. Or I think you're lagging a little bit, Freeze.
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
Now you're good. You're good right now. Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. Yeah, I've been having a mic issue for the past couple of days, man. I don't know what it is.
Hey, y'all remember the point guard that we got overseas? Ruckus? That's his name, right?
Jokibitis.
Yeah.
Right.
Y'all think that this would give him up to save Obi or Grimes?
I think so.
Yeah.
If he was high on him, they would throw him in, but I don't think he's even on Ainge's radar at the moment.
They probably don't even know about him.
Oh, they know.
They know. Oh, they know.
Oh, yeah, they know. They know. They definitely know. They do because they do scouting, bro. Trust. They scout. Right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing about Ruckus Jokibitis. Nobody knows what he is. Not even him.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, man. So man.
Hurry up and make this trade, man. Hope they hurry up and make this trade, man. Let's get it popping, man.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dre. I'm sorry.
I didn't have anything to say.
No, I was going to say that I think Jalen Brunson is the biggest person that's probably going to benefit with Jalen Brunson. I feel is RJ Barrett.
Oh,
if you look at the players that he's played with that kind of play that wing position, like you can have the argument that Jalen Brunson got Mikal Bridges drafted in the top 10. I don't see Mikal Bridges being drafted that high without Jalen Brunson while he was in Villanova.
Right.
And you can say that while his time in Dallas, Luka missed his fair amount of games, and you saw Finley Smith being productive next to Jalen Brunson.
Right.
And I feel like when you have a point guard like this, RJ Barrett can look at Brunson and be like what Angie said earlier. Put me in the positions to succeed. You know what I mean? Like we're in the court. What is easier for me once you drive? Where am I flooding the corner so I can get these open threes? Like stuff like that matters to these guys, and confidence is everything to these young players. And as much as we have like little wars here on what RJ's ceiling is, if RJ he can average the same amount of points, but if he does it at a more efficient rate because of just the talent around him, that makes RJ a hell of a lot better. Now you're talking about a very good number 2 or 3 for your team. So now you would have Brunson, Mitchell, hopefully with the trade, and RJ.
Right.
That's a very young core moving forward.
Right.
And it's all because you thought the process out and say, how can I put these guys the best position to succeed? I think, mark my words now, I think RJ Barrett is going to start seeing real growth playing next to Brunson.
Right.
Hey, guys, check this out. Say we don't get Donovan Mitchell, right? Say Danny ain't playing hard to get, right? Can we go after Terry Rozier to help Brunson out in the backcourt and to give him Fournier and some draft picks? We could give them like 3 draft picks. I think they'll be cool with that.
Okay. 3 draft picks
For Terry Rozier? I don't know about that.
Oh no.
You don't know? He good, man.
Oh, he's
He
good.
got defense and he can score. He can score, defense, everything. I think that's his guy too. And he can help Brunson in the backcourt when they play against Murray and Trey. Things like that. Then Rozier, what he like 6'3"?
Yeah.
So he got a little bit of size on him.
Terry Rozier is a good player. I don't know about 3 picks worth because DeJounte Murray went for 3 picks and he ain't DeJounte Murray.
Oh,
in my opinion.
DeJounte Murray. Nah.
So, and he's a solid player. He's a good like secondary playmaker next to a real point guard like LaMelo.
Right.
But I wouldn't invest that much into him at this point because also he just got his extension, 4 years, 97.
Oh,
So,
damn. I ain't know that.
he got that extension last summer, 4 years,
Yeah.
97. So it's kind of like I don't want to say like if we miss out on Donovan, I don't want that to be a consolation prize. I'd just rather trot out the young guys we have now.
Right.
And hope they blossom into being a Terry Rozier or better than Terry Rozier at his current position, where RJ, like for instance, RJ would be the off guard.
Right. And Cam Reddish would play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least we got somebody who could score 40 points on Boston Celtics.
I mean, we have 4 players that dropped 40 last year, and that didn't necessarily really work out for us, did it? So
nah, but I think in a different year, I think in a different year, I think the Knicks would do better. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because of injuries. It's just a lot of stuff.
Aging. If we had Kemba 3 years ago, it would be a whole different conversation. But we had Kemba now.
Right. Bro, it's crazy.
Now guess what, guys? We got a point guard now.
That he answers a lot more questions.
Yes, sir.
And then gives us more questions. Like he legit answers about 3 or 4 questions for us.
Right.
Without even playing a single minute here.
Right. Not yet.
Not yet.
And guess what, man? We still in with that Donovan Mitchell because we got what he want and he got what we want. So
you mean and Danny Ainge, right? Okay. Yeah. I know. I got you.
Yeah, it's just gonna take some time, man. That's it.
Right. Because I don't see
the only people fighting for Mitchell, I think, is Brooklyn and Miami.
And we're the only ones with the actual assets required to get.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, we the only ones with the stuff that they want, and so it puts us in this situation like we kind of like in a catbird seat, but not really. You don't get too cocky about where you are now. Don't get it twisted. Other teams can do other stuff too, right? But at the same time, I don't know what it is.
I don't picture Danny Ainge being dumb enough to cut off his own nose to spite his face.
It's not that. I don't trust Pat Riley neither.
I don't trust him either. But
he might be like, "Yo, I'll trade Jimmy Butler for 3 first, and I'll just I'll get a call, Donovan Mitchell, and bam, going forward." You don't know what these guys think, man.
No, because Miami can't really do nothing because they got Duncan and Hero on contract, right? And then he don't want them contract.
Also,
well, Hero hadn't signed his rookie max extension yet, or rookie.
Jimmy's on a max. Ainge don't want no contracts.
Yeah.
Jimmy's gonna be making like $40 million when he's 37, man.
Listen, every team that Danny Ainge put out there, they still, no matter what they do, is not matching the next offer. But like Freezy said, I'm not gonna get cute with him playing myself.
Yeah, you got to make a fair deal regardless.
Yeah.
You got to be fair.
Yeah. No doubt, man. God dog it. Hey, y'all, I'm gonna have to run. I'm gonna have to run. I'm gonna have to get out of here.
Where you running to? Where you going? We
this,
just heating up, baby. We're just heating up.
I know, but at 8:00 I'm gonna be right back here.
You coming on the morning?
Yep. We doing new school Knicks at 9 and old school Knicks at 11.
The hardest working man in Knicks business, man.
Man. We trying to do
Uncle
this
Freeze.
thing, bro. And then I gotta finish this Jalen Brunson video, right? Because no matter how much I talk about Jalen Brunson, people don't get it, right? People and I don't expect people to get it because believing is seeing is believing, right? So what I'm doing the Jalen Brunson video right now, just small snippets so people can understand what it is that we're talking about, like how Jalen Brunson is going to impact this team. Now, when I say that, I say that to say this: Jalen Brunson can do his thing, but if we don't go get Donovan Mitchell, it's up to the other players to step their game up to match Jalen Brunson, not for Jalen to meet them. Exactly. You feel me?
They got to be ready to hoop.
Yeah, they got to be ready. They got to be ready. They got to bring their A games. They got to be better.
You know what I like about the video you put together, Freeze? Is that everybody was up in arms when we didn't trade for DeJounte Murray, and you saw Brunson kill DeJounte Murray.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not putting up a video of Brunson versus Miles McBride, you know?
Right. No,
he's going against some of the NBA elites.
Elite, and when you see him create space against Jalen Brunson, against DeJounte Murray, it's not even about like foot speed or athleticism. It's fundamentals.
Hey,
jab step, pump fake, misdirection, go spin that man around in a circle like a dog chasing his tail. Meanwhile, you over here because you use the fundamentals of the game to beat him and not athleticism.
And it goes back to what we spoke about over the summer, that he took that learning experience against the Clippers in the playoffs, and he went over that summer and improved of it because he had issues creating that space against bigger guys. And this year, he pretty much did it at will.
Right. And then also, too, when you watch the tape of him, it's not all Jalen Brunson's fault against the Clippers. Because what they did is, you remember how teams used to play Michael Vick, where they used to zone up behind Mike Vick, but he roll defense. And they used to spy him on both sides. They'd had when they'd have Julius Peppers spying on one side and Alex Brown spying on the other side. So as soon as Mike tried to take off, both dudes stop what they doing and mirror Mike. Like, okay, will you and me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they didn't let the pass rushers go all the way to the quarterback, so they don't open up the running lanes for Vic.
Yep.
Pretty much,
they'd rather deal with him passing than
they would rather for him to throw. They would rather have for him to throw an accurate pass to the tight end down the field 20 yards. If he did it, that's fine. They'll live with it. But a 70-yard touchdown run is what they can't live with.
And that's demoralizing.
Yep. And that's what the Clippers did to Jaylen Brown. Not just the bigger defender, but when he turned the corner, they had remember they took out their bigs and played Nicholas Batum, and Nicholas Batum played center field. Yeah, he played center field. Like, he would switch on to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And that is part of the thing with the Jalen Brunson thing, right? So that's why when teams do that to us, or if teams decide to do that to us, take out their big, bro.
Julius is cooking.
Man, I'm excited. Is it October yet?
Yeah.
Mouse in the house for Julius.
Right. Those are the type of things, the conversations we need to be having going forward. You know, not what Danny Ainge is going to pay, because it don't matter. Either we going to pay it or we not. Ultimately, either we going to pay the asking price or we not. But what about the players on the floor? What happens when the chess game starts? Because a lot of people don't have faith in Tom Thibodeau. They don't think Tom Thibodeau can play the chess game. I'm here to tell you that
Tibbs is a great developer, in my opinion.
I just think Tibbs is good strategically, but when your best players or not your best player, I'm sorry, but your most important players, like your point guard, are subpar, it puts you too far behind. It puts you too far behind the 8 ball, bro.
He's great strategically, but when the game gets broken down and you need the players to make the plays and figure it out on their own,
Right.
that's where you need the help. That's where Derrick Rose stood out for him.
Yeah, and
because he'll take you all the way through 3.5 quarters, but you got to figure it out on your own on the court. That's what elite players do.
Right, and then plus two to that, when you're in that scenario where you need your veterans to figure it out on the floor, we were rolling out kids.
Yeah. And if they weren't kids, they were vets in positions they're not familiar with or comfortable.
Reggie Bullocks.
Yeah.
Alec Burks. Nerlens Noels. Who were probably they were with us, they were starters, and in real life they're
6, 7, 8, 9th guys.
Yep. But all right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap right here, man, so I can finish up this video and so I can get some sleep because we're gonna be rocking and rolling. I said 8, but I really mean 9. I'm sorry, I misspoke. 9 o'clock, we'll probably be rocking and rolling. So make sure y'all check out New School Knicks with Mr. Rivera and Greeny from Long Island. I'll be kicking it with them. And then after that, it'll be Old School Knicks with me and Anthony D. And then after that, we're gonna play it by ear. I've been doing videos all weekend to put on the Patreon or whatever. But I think I'm finished with that for a while. So I'll be back to live streaming 1,000 times a day. Yeah, man. All right, y'all.
All right, guys.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all for coming through, man. I'll holler at y'all in a few hours, man.
All right, no doubt.
All right, y'all.
Peace, y'all.